Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Dice and Dudes.
And the one girl.
The current
Yes,
ever expanding adventures of our 3+ year D&D campaign. Shut up, you two. I'm trying to do our intro here.
We're trying to make sure our waters are.
We're trying to do our intro here.
Sorry.
So, welcome back. We are, as always, brought to you by Military Gamer Supply. Gives us the lights and some of the cameras and the space in order for us to bring this wonderful, absolutely high-quality television programming to your viewing eyeballs.
And the bandwidth.
Do we have any events coming up for Military Gamer Supply?
So we've got Friday Night Draft and Commander for Magic. We've got Saturday Modern, Sunday Standard. And on Saturday, there's also going to be a 40K tournament, 2,000 points, ITC rules. Any X-Wing?
Might as well look at this game. We had X-Wing last weekend, so no X-Wing as far as I know this weekend, but any other events, you can find them on our website because we have a calendar for that. But also, there's a new business going to be happening in the area. I'm going to be working for part-time. Sarge's Canteen. It's ran by mine and Vince's buddy, Maze. He's going to be running a food truck with German-type cuisine and everything, and we will be getting our on-post certifications and everything soon, so on-post. But off-post, we will be running that probably after LVO.
Oh, maybe you can cater one of our games sometime.
They do cater events for Military Gamer Supply, so I'll talk to Aaron. Maybe we get some catering going.
Yeah, maybe
His food is available in MGS's fridge the entire time. That's those.
Oh, that he's on his
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, okay, then yes, then I can attest. It is very, very good stuff.
You like
Maze's apple pie.
Anything else from Military Gamer Supply, or is that it?
Open gaming any day that ends with Y.
Age of Sigmar League, currently in progress.
Yes.
If you want to still get involved, talk to Ignacio.
Ignacio Santana, he's the employee here. Monday through Thursday, 6 in the afternoon to midnight. We also have SEA people come up here on Wednesday evenings for fencing.
Yeah, you can probably hear them in the background a bit. We are also brought to you by David's Tiles and Terrain.
Our primary sponsor.
Primary sponsor, yeah.
Co-primary sponsor.
Yeah.
Without him, we wouldn't have Terrain or DM. So
Yeah, very true. And without the other one, we wouldn't have the place. So, I mean, it all kind of
it's
evens
all
out.
synergistic.
But David's Tiles and Terrain is currently, I am currently working on a large-scale project. It is going to be a multiple-level dungeon delve, very expansive. Every bit of it is going to be created by me. A lot of the terrain itself that you'll be able to see will be integrated into the overall story, as well as being able to see it on the table and interact with it. That is going to be a 3rd level mini campaign that'll last maybe 5 or 6 game sessions, depending, because I have multiple unique, brand new tile sets that I'm currently working on, and trying to figure out a few things that I'm going to be incorporating and see how it works out. Though I hope you all will join me for that. The majority of that will be focused on the terrain itself. We might have a couple of our regular players show up to that, but we might have some new faces just to give some other people a chance to play with my amazing terrain and my just absolutely astounding DM skills. Right?
I always get first dibs.
Right? I mean, they're not saying anything, but they totally agree with me.
your ego is amazing.
I'm surprised it fits in camera.
Right?
Other than that, as always though, the terrain that we'll be using tonight, if we get into any combats or anything like that, it is supplied all by David's Tiles and Terrain. If you see anything from Mantic or other companies, that stuff has been painted by David's Tiles and Terrain. He offers painting services, commission services for dungeons, army painting services for 40K, Fantasy, Age of Sigmar, Infinity, any of those things. If you go ahead and check him out on Facebook or Instagram. That's David's Tiles and Terrain.
If he can fit it into the schedule, maybe not. I know it's a rush job, but I'm going to try and get him to do a display tray for my army for LVO.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see if we can get that. That'd be a hell of a rush job, but we'll see what we can get done on that. Now, coming up here, probably for a few weeks, we will be short one Sonia. She'll be out for a little bit, but she's not gone. She's not forgotten. She'll be coming back. We're probably not this coming Wednesday.
No.
She will not be here, but hopefully the Wednesday after, and for a few more Wednesdays, we'll have her Skyping in. So that's going to be a whole other bag of worms that we're going to have to deal with everything
dear
else.
Lord.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. But other than that, I don't have any other announcements currently. Same bat time next week. Anything else? We are short one Perry. He will be here momentarily. Work and life kind of gets in the way, and El Paso traffic is always fun with all the construction going
Dare
on.
he have a life?
Hey,
I know.
He's pole dancing right now.
Well, it's
Actually,
what.
they'll
Hey,
make Skype work,
he works
that's
hard
what-
for the money.
That is one heavily reinforced pole.
It is.
It's a load-bearing pole.
I-beam.
Okay, so with that, we're gonna go ahead and start. Well, this at this point is, by my count, including all of our others, this is episode 123
Yeah.
of the Mist in the Night campaign.
Sadly, I've only been here since episode 100.
About 60, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
There's another 100 with the.
I was kidding.
One.
Yeah.
was kidding.
Okay.
I have
Last time, the Knights of Fate had answered Rotmir's family's summons after looting the observatory that now resides within Onder upon the Star Peak Mountains. They teleported to the Lantern's Way, an underground lantern-lighted traveling path leading from Corunda Gate to Chroma Peak, the ancestral home of the Dekundarak family. After arriving there, they entered Corunda Peak and discovered that it was much more bustling and busier than usual. There was much more trade happening. After having a heart-to-heart with his brother and finding out that his brother knows about him keeping his now greater dragon mark a secret, has given him an ultimatum. He can either stand at his side, or he will simply seek out their adopted sister Triswin and have her stand at his side. Rotmir and Triswin's mother, as well as a few other people in town and some guardsmen, have expressed trepidation with some of Hasith Dekundarak's current agenda. And they now collect within the Lantern's Home Inn that they have completely bought out, with a solitary proprietor now sitting in the lobby plucking on the strings of a guitar, and that sound echoing throughout the stone halls of his very empty inn and tavern. And that is where we begin tonight. All of you now stand within the same room that you can have your pick of, as you all rented the place out. The only one who is not currently with you is Arnos, as he is outside still watching the Watchers that have...
who watches the Watchmen?
You do.
Oh, the puns are flowing already.
And Joe.
Well, since Kate's not here.
Right? We have to make up for the lack of Joe.
Yeah. Well, maybe we just don't do the puns.
It's D&D. We have to.
Yeah, I know.
So.
I'm currently pacing through the main portion of the front room.
So, walking a rut in the floor of the tavern may help you calm, but it doesn't help the situation. What did your brother say? I mean, I can ad-lib a bit. Wah, wah, wah. I'm a giant cunt. Wah, wah, wah. Please stab me in the face.
He's still
I
a brother.
open up the
So not the face?
sending stones.
Okay, so Arnos can hear as well.
Well, we are now all threats to my brother and his economic position in Moorholtz. Corunda Gate in particular. He's got vast amounts of support because he's making this city a lot of money. But we are all threats to to him. If I don't support him, I'm just as good as Fickrick. I'll waste away in Ironhall.
Well, I don't like that option.
I don't either.
You'll never make it into prison. Your brother will just die.
Well, he's positioned himself in a way that has totally and utterly destroyed our family. That was a sacrifice for his power play.
How's it making this place so much money?
I don't know. I'm just a soldier.
You
So,
also know as also a power play if he tries to take you to prison. Flame casting double fireball.
Let's not start a war, please.
It's not a war, it's just
Well-
dies.
What we have in power, they make up for in numbers.
so sneak attack?
No.
Sneak attack double fireball.
You know, there's another option. It's a great sacrifice on my part, but we go save the world, and all of the destruction to my personal family will...
See, that's not really acceptable because we need you at your best. And if
I've never failed this group.
I'm not saying that, but if now you know how bad your family is, we don't need that weighing on your shoulders while we need you to go beat the shit out of stuff.
Or we could figure out where the wild hair came from and how it got up his ass.
Well, he's
always been like this.
he has been centered. What he thinks is glory for the family is nothing but power. He thinks he's helping the family.
So,
I still love him. I don't want to kill him.
I can't imagine that the few short days that
that
he's been in power, that he could possibly have turned this city around this much. Not without something illegitimate going on.
Well, I've changed.
That took a little bit longer.
I wonder if there's an influence. He did help draft the Treaty of Thornhold.
He has been preparing for the takeover for a long time.
And I'm wondering, since we know about King Caius and your patron, the one that sent you to Barovia, I wonder if someone very powerful got to my brother and has changed him. Just like King Caius was changed.
So, as I see it, you can't leave because then your family is destroyed.
And then we'll have House Deneath following us everywhere we go.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
No.
I'm worried about House Deneath.
Mm,
They send out the right person and I'm dragged back.
but would he really involve the other families? Has he involved the gnomes in this? Did you see any?
Well,
You know how they can
he's decided not to honor Father's promise to your betrothed.
It's not gonna go well.
So,
Can we at least get Mother out?
She won't leave.
She'll leave. We'll take her to mine.
yeah, Tristan, she probably won't leave her sons. She will think of her family.
Well,
I'm talking to the Finch right now.
Grugnag and Thalgrat no longer live at the house.
Where are they?
I don't know.
Will they?
The only family members
there
that live
two
at the
brothers?
house now are Mother and Hassan.
One's a priest and one was in the army.
We were denied rooms. We were denied hospitality. That's why we're here.
Probably just as well.
As I see it, one of you must go, and personally, I know which one I vote for. It's best for your mother. We rescue your brother.
Well, I want to get Fickrick out. He's fifth in line. He had to take care of himself.
So, first step, we rescue the Fickrick.
Ironholm is not to be taken lightly. It's
Can you,
So-
Aaron, would you be able to assist in that?
Maybe.
I don't
I
want
would
to
need
know.
to see some of their forms. I would need to see the inside. I need to see the place from the outside. I mean, how unassailable is it?
Yeah, it's a steel box
Box.
with a door.
one
A
way
door.
in,
Oh, that's fine.
one way out.
And lots of angry midgets guarding the front of
So,
it.
official routes, it is.
They're dwarves, not halflings.
They're all short. Except fat short instead of skinny short.
Chest.
I don't have the mental capacity to play Hassith if we're following his rules.
So if you don't follow his rules, we gather your support and throw him
Let's
over.
talk to our two friends out here and ask them what's been going on. And ask less specific questions.
Well, is it possible?
You know, your biggest friend here was Fikric.
Well, I want to get him too.
I want to get Mother out.
Is it possible to involve any sort of underworld element in this?
Well, apparently the Thieves Guild has been bought.
Yeah, there's a problem with underworld elements is they go where the gold goes, and the gold is on his side.
Well, he's given me a day.
So we rest, and then we attack. Rally your supporters. Turn them against the rest of them.
We're gonna need more than 24 hours to do that.
I haven't been here in
He doesn't
years.
do the political scene. And
Since
that's
stand
what
before
he-
the gates and appeal to their dwarvenness. And whoever stands in our way, well, I do my best not to kill them.
Well, the problem is, we're part of an organization, a house, that puts profit margin paramount. Now, we could play on his refusal to honor contracts, because that's
Is there legal recourse to challenge?
in Karunda Gate. No, we probably have to go over the head to Chrome Peak.
Then we leave
That
wherever
was he
someone
talking
said.
to the head of the family.
And if the profit is increased and money is flowing into the
They'll go with the
coffers,
money.
they'll go with the money.
So there's no solution other than
We do have something.
Well, we have stuff. It sounds like we've got two non-violent recourses.
There's a
Bringing up
good
Fikric and
thing with this. The deal for my marriage has been broken.
Yes, but that you still have the oath.
you did give your bird.
Yes.
But I mean, if he releases me from at least going to where this happened.
Can you contact Hubby Dearest?
Contact my hubby dearest, please.
What do I look like?
You have the scroll.
He's not on this.
I'm sure there's a name. We're gonna have to come up with a name for that. Let's go with Telegraph for now, maybe. I don't know.
It's a pleasure.
Come on, Tris. When the man's on the messenger out, you're not going to a school.
Well, he does have wings.
How's that out?
Oh, talk about my owlbear.
We do what we
The one
do.
I didn't get. Thanks for reminding me.
Oh, you're welcome.
We
Yes.
break out Fikric.
He knocks her beer off.
I'm not drinking.
He rallies his support. Then we take the place.
Well, then it becomes a question of how to get through the into the iron.
We're talking about possibly going to war with the full-fledged dragon house.
part of it.
Yeah, only part of it. And once your brother's dead, there's no reason to
We
support
don't
him.
know how high his influence goes.
Influence stops when you're dead.
Yeah, he's not wrong. I can't believe I'm agreeing with him. Because that's annoying.
How many times, even though I've lived out in the woods most of my life, the old man had a lot of books and a lot of problems were simplified by political assassination because someone else took over the power. Because the other one's he's not useful if he's dead. He can't
I'd be
tell
fine with that if he wasn't my brother.
Yeah.
Is he
You
your brother
say
anymore,
your
though?
mother and your other brother, or one brother. And we don't have to kill him, we give him a choice.
We could use Flynn and polymorph him into
Well, the
a
problem
rat.
with my brother is
Exile
he's
him.
not a fighter.
Exactly, it's easy.
No. because he has other fighters do his fighting. So it's not just him we would be possibly killing. It's probably a lot of the Kundarak house
So
guards.
it comes down to your choice. We fight for your family, or we slink away.
So
Are we somewhere throwing subterfuge at the window?
So we fight, which would be going to war with the Dragonmark house, or we slink away.
We've never actually been the smartest folks. Going to war with the Dragonmark isn't as bad as fighting a death god.
You
I
do realize this is the heart of banking throughout Corvair. This is where other houses and countries have their money.
Not our fault they invested bad. Bank robbers happen all the time. We're not even robbing a bank. We're just.
What if we bring...
Can I hit him upside the head, please?
We should bring.
Roll a hit.
1 plus your
Are you
strength.
trying to actually do damage?
Tropic
Not,
War,
like,
she gets
a
this
lot.
advantage.
No,
So are you trying to hit him?
like just hit him, but not like beat his
Then
brains
roll.
in.
In Tropic War, she gets this advantage.
You know what I'm doing yet. Are you gonna roll the insight check?
He can get a reaction. So go to roll with disadvantage.
Disadvantage? Well, that was a 10.
Yeah, that's the current one.
That's fine. No.
Seven.
With my
Plus.
strength, which is
And
now
your-
a 23.
And your
And your
Proficiency.
proficiency.
So,
Plus 11, 18.
Yes.
Okay, I see this and I get between
You're wearing
both of
armor?
you and I say, if you guys want to
Always
fight
wear
someone,
armor.
let's go.
Hey, no, that's not how we do this.
Then why are they starting?
Because
Don't
they're
get me.
pissing at each other because we're all upset.
because he's saying shit about my family.
No, he's
I'm
saying...
sorry, these are the people that took me in when I had no one.
That's fine at all. But your family says someone to stalk me and everybody else, and I don't
Yo,
appreciate being stalked.
you be
right now.
quiet or I make you quiet.
Go ahead.
I'm quiet.
Well, it looks like we're making enemies of each other when our real enemy, for the time being, is succeeding.
Yeah, you have my loyalty. You make the decision and we carry it out. This is your family. This is your idiot brother. I've never had a brother, so I can't say I would kill him.
I need a refill on players' tears.
But if that one betrayed you, I'd kill him. No offense.
He's not there. I see you see that. I
I
didn't know
wave
who you were
towards
talking
the
about.
wall where the bird is outside.
Okay, so you...
You don't have to see me coming.
At this point, I can't stand Hatsis. So,
Lemony.
Is there trial by combat in your society?
Nope.
no,
They're utterly practical.
If we produce a wife of a person holding a broken contract, can we bring legal suit?
well, the barristers and the judges are all in Hatsis' pocket.
Here, we'd have to go up there, and then the possibility of being okay with everything up there is pretty bleak.
So, our legal recourse is done. We don't have some money for illegal recourse. That leaves force, stealth, or force and stealth. I like the third option, but I'm okay with the first as a second.
I'd like to get Fickrick out of Ironholm, but he would be a fugitive for the rest of his life.
Yes, that doesn't matter once we leave this place. Especially if we finish your brother off. I mean, restrain your brother.
We're
Permanently.
the Knights of Fate. We have resources and means. Fickrick has lost everything.
Yeah, we send him to live with Trisvan's husband.
We don't even know if that's safe. If the contract has been broken, we don't know.
Yeah,
If the contract's broken, he has no power. He's
pirates and thieves.
drowned in what's it called?
Yeah. Let's say honorable of the swords. I'm honorable. I'm from
But I'll reiterate,
technically.
pirates and thieves.
I feel offended.
I'm sorry, Flynn.
It's
but-
actually true, but I feel offended still. I don't know about it. Yeah, you make the decision. We fight or we run.
Well,
We still have a job to finish.
Yeah, but you can't leave your mother like that. Prisoner in a home.
I'm not saying we're gonna leave her. I'm saying we still have a job to finish. Would he at least allow you some time to finish something and then come back and then we can decide then?
No, he's very adamant about me having one day. If I leave, that's an answer. And if I stay, he expects me to support his every whim.
Which you cannot in good conscience do because you are a good man.
I know it's not tactically sound, but I want to get Fickrick out.
So we do that. And damn whoever stands in our way.
Well, that's Olive Corunda Gate.
Doesn't damn them.
I don't think even we can take on Olive Corunda
You
Gate.
don't have to take the whole place. Maybe I find another way in. I talk to the earth.
I'm not stealthy. I could petition for permission to see him, but then I'd be in the belly of the beast and couldn't do much.
You might get stuck in there.
Can I transport off of a familiar item?
What do you mean?
Teleport off of a familiar item?
Gotta be a place.
Yeah. We go outside and I speak to the earth and then we see what.
Speak to the what?
Speak to the earth, don't worry about it.
You should speak to
Well,
the in the prison.
I look around. And then I stop my foot.
We have to go next to the prison. Within, say, a mile.
Well, is it possible to do any sort of legwork?
Unless we find a way to bribe the guards, and apparently they're not bribable. We give one a big shiny diamond. I like my diamonds, but I might give one up. For fakery.
Real quick. He won't be here till around 9. He wants to know if it's worth coming.
Play till 11 usually.
Breaking fingers seems to work too. You can just reset them.
I thank you for your loyalty, but what I'm going to do is
Fun.
Go
Could-
talk to whatever he wants to go talk to.
I mean, it could mean a life in prison.
Yeah, I've walked into a city full of demons with you. I don't think a little box of metal is all that scary.
Well, in many ways, the Morholds is scarier than Markdar.
Yeah, not really.
No.
We need to go up here.
Dwarf people and then.
I'm actually
giant
disappointed
people
that it's
knock
not
me out
scary,
twice, like-
and that if I stick my spear through someone and their name's not going to appear on it. That's depressing.
Yeah, he's got a little murder hobo going.
For demons, I want them to die.
Well, if we assault,
Since I can.
if we assault Ironholm,
Maybe I find another way. We go talk to Zia.
okay.
Let's not settle on anything until we actually have more information.
I'm not a stealthy fellow. Should I come?
Yeah, we not go within a... We go to a mile away. They don't bitch about that. They bitch about a lot of things, but because they're short.
I guarantee you, it's defended against magic. Also,
Yeah, we're not teleporting in. We're not attacking it magically. I'm just talking to the rocks. You're a dwarf. You should understand that.
I've never talked to a rock, but
Does that make me more of a dwarf than you?
Wonderful.
okay. Well, if it will give us information that will guide us, I'm for it.
It would be nice to find out if there's a way to
Alright,
sneak in.
I guess we'll go out, back out this,
The
the road in front of the
Carlos,
prison.
Aye.
if we choose to leave, are we going to be followed?
If you can't sneak away, then they will probably follow.
Perhaps you provide a decoy? Takes a big...
Deck of things. Do they have pictures on them?
They have they have a small picture representing what each one of them are.
Are they mundane creatures? I'm gonna find something scary.
I'm confused. What does he have?
Remember that deck of illusory cards? Deck of illusions.
Oh, that's so much better than what I thought he had.
Oh no, not the deck of many things. That would be pretty cool.
I heard
but-
deck of things, and I was like, no!
I'm like, please, no, guys.
That's a campaign
I'm
killer.
holding 5 cards.
Right at the end.
So, what would be an animal appropriate for a cave in a city? Who fucking cares? Get ready to run out the back door. I'm gonna find a bear.
We
I'm
shall
gonna get a bear.
We shall prepare to exit.
So you throw down. Where are you putting this exactly?
Well, listen, I'm gonna put it between them and the back door, so they're gonna be kind of. You know what?
Put it in the front. That will definitely draw attention to the front.
Yes, it will. I'll go ahead and put it in the front.
Okay, so first off, you're watching this building, and you're watching the 2 guys who are watching the building. So if you want to put it in front of the building, you're gonna have to make your way over to that building, unseen and able to drop it.
Or just put it in front of the 2 guys watching the building.
I'll put it near them.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a stealth check, please.
And Arnos disappears from the campaign again.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Hey,
I rolled it.
I did. Nat 20.
you are becoming very practiced at this. The buildings themselves, they may be dwarves, but the architecture here is still made for. It's the more holes. They designed their buildings to be comfortable for creatures of much larger size. So most of these buildings have vaulted ceilings that even Thraka doesn't have an issue walking into. Making your way through this architecture, moving across stone, you are as silent as the shadows around you.
Who are you? I'm Birdman.
Now, these guys are standing in 2 different alleys, trying to be nonchalant. And, you've seen they're pretty good at their job. They blend in fairly well.
Yeah, well, they blended when a bear's growing out.
But they are currently, seem to be, one of them is having a conversation with someone, but you can still see his eyes darting and looking at the building. He's keeping, seems like he's keeping tabs on it. The other one, he's just kind of hunched into his cloak, has the hood pulled down so you can't see his face, and he's just kind of, seems to be just leering at the building.
No, he's the reason why there's no loitering signs in front of buildings.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, they're both technically in an alley, so they're not in front of any buildings
You're
currently.
about to be the reason there's going to be a no bears.
Okay, so
Right?
on the card, what's the DC for the illusion?
Check.
It's going to make them shit their pants.
They
all
all
shit
shit their pants.
We won't shit their pants last
See,
time.
it's a DC
Or is it
15
his?
intelligence
His
check.
pants.
But when do they have to roll for it?
Physical interaction.
Yes, so they have
So
to
basically,
physically.
they're going to be utterly convinced until they try to swing at it or punch at it or it tries to swipe at them and misses.
Okay. While he's setting up to do this, what are the rest of you doing?
Waiting for the chaos and then going out the door opposite of where the chaos is.
As you all approach the front door, you see the proprietor of this place, Inish, looks over at you all, stops playing the guitar for a minute, kind of gives you all a strange look as you kind of gather up at the door and then wait. He just,
We're going out the back door, right?
Isn't it just the 2 of you?
it's
Back door?
who all's gone?
Me and Rotmer.
Just you and Robert. So as you guys are standing by the back door, he kind of looks, gives you guys a strange look, then just looks down at his guitar and then continues to play again.
Actually, you know what? I'm
That
gonna
was
stay
the plan,
engaged.
right? Plan? Back
Yeah,
door?
you and me.
No. Back door?
Whatever door is away from the watches.
Okay.
Well, it's about to be the back door.
Okay.
Yeah, so-
As you throw it down, what type of bear is this?
Grizzly.
A 1,000-pound
Kodiak
a Kodiak grizzly bear suddenly appears out of nowhere. The 2 men who are paying attention to the building themselves hear it. They look over and see this gigantic bear, and it just starts gnashing its teeth at people. There is a cacophonous cry as dozens of voices take up the "What the fuck is going on?" cry, and utter chaos ignites around you as if you had lit a match. I need both of you to roll me perception checks, please.
Perception. 12.
16 plus, so I think that's a 23, but I gotta double check. Because one of my stats changed. That's a 24.
24. And
12.
so you both hear from the front of the building, people just start screaming.
And I'm out.
Okay.
I'm
So you,
behind them.
okay, so you both take off. With the distraction, I'm going to give you both a stealth check with advantage. Now, you see the one guy, he takes off down the alley, but you see him, he still has eyeline on the building itself. The other guy turns and he just starts sprinting away. Even pushing the person that he was talking to the ground, and he doesn't have to outrun the bear, just that dude.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm not high
11.
enough level for
11?
this. 20.
20? Okay. As you all sneak out,
I'll
you
go ahead
begin
and
making
follow
your way.
Mr. Looky Loo.
Okay. You both begin making your way out of Corunda Gate. You see
How
the.
can I retrieve that card if at all? Or is it expended?
It's expended.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, once you use it, it is expended.
Just making sure. Does it leave physical evidence?
The card itself.
Well, whatever.
You follow the looky loo and continue with your 20. It's pretty easy to see that he still tries to keep an eye on the building, but he makes no move to follow when they leave.
Most of it always check out.
The other guy, he runs about 3 blocks, then circles around and comes back once he hears the cries die down. The card itself lasts for a minute, I believe.
Probably. It probably lasts about as long as the... Oh, goddamn, why am I doing that?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Not even in there! I haven't added it, so... Card. One more creatures. Oh, I can move the creature as long as you're with me.
Yes.
As long as one you can use it as action. Physical interaction reveals it. It doesn't actually give a duration.
I believe it's, I think it's a minute.
Does it not?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a minute. I may have forgot to write it down on the card, but I'm
Until
pretty
the
sure it's a minute.
spell.
Until the spell.
It's there.
It's
for
there.
forever.
So it's there. So it's there for quite a while. And the place clears out. The proprietor falls on his ass, runs to the front door, opens it, sees it, closes the door, turns around and looks at the 2 of you that are still there, and just, or the 3 of you that are still there, and just goes, never mind. Goes back to the bar, pulls out a small shot glass, pulls out a bottle of brandy, pours it, takes a few drinks, then just sits down behind the bar.
I'm gonna go to House Civis.
The 2 of you
I'm going
will
house.
make your way there. While that's happening, and you watching the 2 fellows, you do see the other guy return. The one guy who only went down the alleyway, after a little while, he does return back to his vantage point, and he seems suspicious, but doesn't approach the creature. He just stays in the alleyway, out of its line of sight, and continues to watch the building.
He's staying out of the bear's quote-unquote line
Yeah,
of sight.
yeah. If it moves a little bit, he'll move to stay away from it. He doesn't want this thing charging him, whatever. He's not doesn't seem like he's 100% sure if it's real or not, but he just wants to make sure.
That 10%, oh no.
Yeah, he's 90% sure it's fake, but just in case.
They're out of nowhere.
There have been stranger things, that have magically happened before.
It's in the land of Eberron.
While the 2 of you are heading off towards the Lantern's Way, what are the 2 of you doing?
Getting fucking smashed at the fucking bar at the end because I'm being stalked by Dad.
So you sit down at the bar, he kind of looks up at you. Would you like to run a tab?
Yeah.
Stands up. I hope you drink a lot. Don't have any customers today. Puts out a glass, pours you some brandy, and pushes it towards you.
Yeah.
Very good stuff. Just enough burn in the back of the throat. As soon as it hits your stomach, you immediately feel warmer.
I'm not going to do Thor. Another! No.
Well, these are metal cups, so it'd be hard to...
Just because
Another!
even better, another. What?
I just proceed to drink.
Okay, so you're drinking to get smashed out of your head.
Yeah.
That is very easy to do. Okay. Tristan, what are you doing? Excuse me. Need some more tears.
Talk to the painting guy.
He's in the room with you all. He's leaned up against the counter, or the cabinet, sorry, and it seems as if he's sitting on a bench and looks like he's thumbing through a book that has no writing in it.
Hello.
Oi,
Have you
Hello.
ever seen the Lazar Principalities?
I have. The man who painted me originally was from there.
Do you know who Prince Rygar is?
Name does not ring a bell, but I was in the observatory for quite some time, so names probably change.
The palace at Regalport?
What's Regalport?
It's a town that he
Well-
lives in.
It's a new one on me.
I was just wondering if you could see it, so I could see it.
Oh, if you would like to see this place, that could be arranged. But what are you gonna do for me?
What do you want?
Well, what are you offering?
I don't know. What do you want?
In negotiation, miss, you offer something, I make a counter offer.
I don't know what a penny wants.
I have a name.
You call me cow constantly.
I've called you cow once, but if you like, I can make it a habit.
No. Let's not continue.
So, what do you have to offer?
I could let you talk to my hag.
Pass.
Quite intriguing.
Hard pass. It's a hag. I make it
Well, she's no longer really a hag. She has
I
been
make a
really-
point to stay away from hogs. I mean, present company excluded.
I like the pain.
So what can you offer? Or can I go back to pretending to read my book?
You could take up residency in a palace for a little while.
Tell you what. You clean my my canvas, get the dust off, clean the frame twice a day for a fortnight. You agree to that? Then I'll let you have a little look-see.
Fine.
And I'm in your room whenever we stay for the night.
Fine. Fine.
He reaches his hand out like he's trying to shake yours. You did it, and you just like kind of bump into the painting. I didn't think you'd do it, but I wanted to see if you'd do it, and damn, you're daft enough to do it. Okay, so we have a deal then.
Yes.
Okay, just so you know, I'm also a magically cursed painting, and if you go back on your word, we're gonna wake up with some crotch rot. Just fair warning. So, what would you like to see?
Regalport, but you don't know where that
You,
is.
you just want an overall view
I want the
of the
palace.
city?
If possible. Well, he has a lot of wording on it. I just
Then
want to see
it probably
around
won't
the
work
palace.
within the palace. If he has wording on it, then
He's,
there's quite a few wordings out there that can prevent the type of site that I'm going to be using.
he does have some wordings against divination, but I definitely want to try to see if I can.
If
see
they're
it.
the worded against divination, that's the exact thing I'm trying to do, love.
Can you at least do it around it or in the port? I want to see how many ships he has too.
It's more like you looking at a person more than a place. I can focus in on certain things if I've seen it, but when it comes to people, you have to have a clear vision of them in your mind. You have to touch the painting, and then I can see what you're looking at, so that way I can find them. But I can't just scry on a place.
You can't go because of the divination.
The problem with with your all's brains is you don't remember places as well as you think you do. Yeah, it's always different and changing, but you remember people's faces at least somewhat.
And you can't pierce the divination wording on it.
I could try, but that'd be the only attempt I'd be able to make today, and depending on the type of wording it is, don't want to have any of a bit of backlash, you know.
Yeah. How about places on another plane of existence?
Oh, that I can't do. Problem is, if you want to divine from another place, then you have to get me into that place. I can show you the elemental plane of fire. I've been there before, but I got to be on the plane to do it.
Because I do know, and I remember someone who is in another plane.
Great, get me into that plane, and I can check and scope them out for you.
We'll just try Ryder.
Try your. So think hard, long and hard about them. Think about this face. Do you have the picture in your mind? Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
I want to mitigate.
Reach out and touch the painting. When you feel the cool painting on your flesh, then you know you're there.
Okay.
You feel it?
Yes.
You have the picture in mind?
Yes.
Oh, I see him. Wow. Lovely man. It is a man, right?
Yes.
Okay. Suddenly your sight is pulled from you. It's almost like rushing wind and clouds smashing into your face at 1,000 miles an hour. Like you're screaming across all of Corvair.
So like this, like.
And suddenly, when you come to where you should be able to pierce, you can see the tower before you. And before you reach it, suddenly your sight disappears and is brought back into you. And when you open your eyes, you see Kyung sticking his tongue out at you.
Thoughts
I've been making faces at you for 30 seconds. It's been fun. Not able to pierce that veil, I'm sorry. He's got some quite powerful magic protecting that place. It'd actually be the place to be.
Well, if you ever do want to go there, I can have you put up on our walls.
Oh, great, because that's awesome for me, is sitting on the wall and staring at the same thing every day.
You could always stare at my phone.
That's gonna require a bit of backstory behind it. But this one's a page turner. I'm gonna go back to reading this, alright? And he opens the book with no words in it and licks his finger and just swipe, swipe, swipe. Oh, so good, so good. I see why you all like the book so much. And goes back to doing what he's doing.
Get out the sending stone. Arnos,
What?
would it be possible for you to go to House Civis and send a message for me? Why are you saying rar? There's a bear?
You can hear the cacophony that happened outside, and every once in a while you can still hear the faintest. And this thing is at this point is just pacing within 30 feet, just back and
He's
forth.
had the most fun today that he's had in a long fucking time.
I thought that was just Thraka's stomach.
By the time these two make it about half a mile down the Lantern's Way, 3 men come out of a crossway. And at this point, a fairly large crowd has begun gathering around this little open area. You got a few shops in the area that are now closed. You have the Lantern's home, which is fairly close to the Lantern's Way. The 3 men approach. One of them is wearing what looks to be a brown robe, and he has a blue cloak over the top. He carries a staff with a strange shaped head on it. Next to him is a dwarf without a helmet with very, very ginger red hair flowing down, almost matching the red of his cloak. He's such a ginger. Wearing looks like hardened leather armor, and he carries a spiked mace and a shield. He has a shield out, and he starts approaching this creature with it drawn. The one next to him is a shirtless, but still wearing red pants and very nice looking boots dwarf with a clean shaven head and a closely cropped beard and what looks to be a bull ring in his nose. They slowly begin to approach with the robed figure behind. As they get close, the figure turns to them and swipes at them from about 10 feet away. The shirtless one looks at him and goes, "Ugh, it's not a bear." Walks up to it and just pushes into the thing's head. As it swipes at him, his hand passes straight through. He goes, "Oh!" The wizard kind of nods his head, looks at him, and he goes, "Ah! Thought I was going to have a fun. God damn, haven't wrestled a bear in years."
Oh my
turns around and begins just kind of like stomps away, then leans up against the building and just looks after it as the wizard-looking fellow walks up, closes his eyes, pulls out a what looks to be a piece of stone that has a rune carved in it. Closes his eyes and the rune glows bright orange for just a moment, and suddenly the bear is gone. He opens his eyes, slowly makes his way over to where the card is, bends down, picks it up, opens his robe and puts it into an internal pocket, turns around and, alright, time to see who threw it. I'll get to knocking on the doors. And the first door he walks up to is the Lantern's home. There's a mace on his back. He straps his shield to his side, walks up, and pounds on the door 3 times. Inside, Inish looks over and saunters over the door. He's kind of half in the bag at this point. I mean, you've been doing 2 to his 1, but I mean, you got at this point you're sauced. I mean, you guys have already finished that entire bottle of brandy and are working on a second one. And while you're usually an ale man, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. You hope he's lost track of your tab at this point, though. As he opens the door, he kind of teeters a little bit. Huh? Just looks at him. What are you? You see what happened outside? Nah. I got some VIPs here staying in my place. They rented the whole thing, and I've been entertaining them. He sticks his head inside and looks around, and they must be pretty important VIPs if you're renting the whole place to them.
Barca turns around and yells at him, "You want to get smashed?"
That's one of their bodyguards, I think. No, I didn't see anything. He goes, okay. Stay off the roads if you're going to be drinking that much. I got anywhere to be. And he closes the door, and you see him as he walks around and starts banging on other doors and starts interviewing people. Are you trying to get into vantage points where you can actually hear, or are you staying with your current stealth check where it's safe?
Let's see. I'll move the listener.
Okay. So go ahead and roll me a stealth check, please.
It is 2 15s. So.
And this is you literally taking off and going and
28.
landing on another perch. You land on the perch right above this building and leaning in like Batman brooding over Gotham. As you hear him pound on the door opens, and you hear a very feminine, high-pitched voice just go, "Oh, I didn't see anything. I just saw a friggin' bear just appeared and started swiping at people, and they just started running. So I just closed my sword like, oh, you guys can go now. I didn't mean to lock you in, but I was going to open up the door with a fucking bear out there." And you see some disgruntled customers just kind of walk out, like look around and see if there was a bear. Hey, no bear. It's just some illusion. Probably some young kid found something, threw it on the ground, but who knows these days. All right, get back to it. Come on. We're gonna give the all clear. He goes and he does a couple more interviews, and now you start to see people slowly start filtering in. You can feel the angry heat emanating from the shirtless brawler as he's just brooding against the wall. It's just,
You really wanted to wrestle that bear. I kind of feel bad now.
punch a fucking bear.
You can always just
Lose
get
it.
a real bear.
And he's after about 30 minutes of this, people start to filter back in, and shops begin to open back up. And at this point, he went and he saw him at about evening, or I'm sorry, dusk. So it's evening. Normally the place would be shutting down probably right around about now, but there's quite a few taverns and other eateries and tap halls in this area. So this place still keeps a presence of people well into the night. And now that there's no longer the threat of them getting mauled by a giant bear, they want to get their drink on. Some of them want to get their drink on because they thought they were going to get mauled by a giant bear.
Nice to know that.
The two do return. The one guy's still watching. while this whole thing is happening, and the other one does return and begin once again watching the house. Though it seems as if he left somewhere and then came back. So you're not entirely sure as to where.
Yeah.
The two of you, though, as you guys begin heading towards Ironhome, you guys know at this point it's about a 3-hour walk down the various passageways to get to Ironhome.
Okay.
What do y'all do?
We're hoping it, I guess.
Moving it.
Okay.
Since riding would be impolitic at this point.
Well, and on your mounts, it'd be much more conspicuous.
Of course not, it's not conspicuous.
Or ram, and well, that's
Well,
probably not that weird.
Well, the Bakushla is currently in the stables attached to Lantern's home.
Yeah.
Right.
Alright. As soon as I get, a mile away, I'll sit down and start using Olean's gift.
Okay. Go and roll me a straight intelligence check, please.
I'm standing guard.
Okay.
15 plus 0 is 15.
Okay.
As a smart one.
You think you can judge the distance pretty well from where you are. You're pretty sure you're about a mile off when you sit down and begin your 10-minute meditation.
How far away was I when the guard started?
Oh, when they saw you, you guys were about a football field and a half, about maybe 150 yards.
So I'll go
away.
within a quarter mile.
Okay. You can
4
basically
football
come. Yeah, you can basically come up to where you're. In the pathway to this large cavern that's been mined out specifically for this purpose,
Yeah.
you can get up fairly close to there as long as you don't enter the chamber. You're not in their line of sight.
Are there any common animals that run around here?
There are some burrowing animals. There are. He's told you about some purple worms that will give him trouble every once in a while, but they tend to.
No, smaller
Just
animals.
The close thing you know is they're. Gonna roll me a history check real quick.
Advantage because of no. That would be a 9.
9. You have a basic idea that most wildlife in this area mainly stays close to the areas that are connected to the elemental plane of fire or the elemental plane of earth. So every once in a while you can have some angry Zorns come through, you can have some fire and earth elementals that'll come through, but they mainly stay close to those areas. You know of a couple, you guys have run into one yourselves that's connected to the elemental plane of fire where the magma dragon came out of. But most of the time there's not a whole lot of, not really. This you guys are in solid rock, so you're not going to find like gophers or any kind of burrowing.
No
animal.
rats.
Rats, maybe. You might be able to find
Cool.
rats are prolific everywhere.
I'm turning into a rat and going closer.
Okay.
All the memes.
Why rat invisible?
Okay, so yeah, level 4 is good.
Okay. I don't see him.
No, you've seen him many times before.
What's that noise?
You've seen him many times.
Like a soap bubble popping, just.
Okay.
And how close do you get?
100 yards?
Okay, so you get about halfway
Yeah.
through the cavern itself. Okay. You sit down and begin meditating.
Move off the path so nobody accidentally bumps into me and then sit down and meditate.
Okay. Takes 10 minutes.
Yep.
As you focus on Olean's gift, you almost feel as you sit there like an extension of your body begins to seep into the earth itself. Almost like you're growing roots as they just descend into the earth and then begin slowly spreading out. When you meditate, you still pass the 10 minutes no matter what you do, but you slowly begin to expand the area that you're aware of.
Yeah.
And once it gets to a mile, everything beyond that mile is hazy and fuzzy. You can't really make it out. But you can feel the natural world in this area. When you felt the Eldine reaches, it was utterly teeming with life. and every
Everywhere.
foot there was life of some kind. You felt the crawling of the ants, the centipedes in the earth, the rabbits running through the underbrush, the birds flying in the sky. Here, you can feel there is some wildlife. There is definitely a sizable colony of rats that has taken up home within Ironhome. But you don't sense any other natural creatures in the area. You do feel that within that mile there is an elemental tether to another plane, and it feels as if it's the elemental plane of air.
Alright.
That's pretty much what you feel in the area. You can get a good sense, like you have a fairly good map in your mind of what the cavern is and everything within a mile of you, and you can see rivulets where some of the dwarves have mined out in other areas and been following, various veins of certain minerals, but they haven't really mined it and structuralized it like the rest of this place. But that metal box, besides the rats within it, you don't sense.
Do I see any other pathways in the main door?
This natural cavern, you can tell it is the metal box is halfway into the rock, so it sticks out enough for basically like the yard.
Yeah.
So they can have some
looking for
height
a
above
second
them.
entrance.
The metal of this building only extends about 10 feet into the rock.
Okay.
Beyond that, it's just rock. It's not steel.
There's no tunnels or anything going into it?
It feels as if the tunnels have been made into the rock that have been like jail cells and things like that. Yeah. It seems there is a very secure front section of this place that appears that it's not just iron, it is steel.
Yeah.
And then the back half of this prison, which you can feel the prison is fairly large. Probably extends about 75 yards beyond the wall and about 50 yards down.
Okay.
There's definitely a sense of the steel you can't feel, but the rock you can.
Yeah.
And there is definitely a complex of cells that have been carved into the rock that extend further down into the earth.
But no back way.
There it's literally into the.
There's
it looks
not
like
a
it's been
separate
designed. Yeah.
tunnel coming in from a
No,
different
it
angle.
looks like everything that they get from like supplies and everything would have to come through this front area, through this.
No
front
water
gate.
source flowing in. Nothing like that.
There is an underwater or underground lake that wells tap into, just like the rest of Thundergut. It looks like the same underground river.
I know which way the wells go from the lake.
You can get a sense. I mean, they're not that deep. I mean, the furthest point down is where that cistern is within the prison. That's where most of the waste and offal and everything else goes through. But also where they also have a source of natural spring water that comes through.
How big is it?
It's the lake under Thundergut is fairly sizable.
The well going into Ironhome.
Oh, the well itself, it's the typical size well.
Big enough for people?
For a person to like uncomfortably kind of crawl through, you'd have to hold your breath for a long time. But yeah.
Oh no, we don't hold our breath. Harry! Get your bitch ass up. I have a job for you.
You know he's well out of earshot.
I know, I'm just giggling.
But you hear that.
Harry, you there?
You're well out of earshot.
Get up, dust the robes off. Go give Rotmir a wedgie while I'm still invisible.
You grab onto his metallic pants and pull. Okay. It's about that time that the invisibility wears off.
It's an hour.
Yeah.
Oh no, 8 hours.
No, 1 hour, because it's 10 minutes.
Oh, 10
Yeah.
minutes and then
Yeah.
boosted, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, time to go. I have our way in.
Okay. Any idea of a way out?
Yeah, it's the way we go in.
Okay.
Don't worry. It's just like old day. It's a shitty day.
Have you located Thickrick?
No, we have to find him inside. But
I would like you to go ahead and roll me a history check, please.
3.
3. You actually started. Now, see, you're a soldier because you became a soldier. You went down into the tunnels beneath Thundergut, the entrances that go down into Kyber, and to the even connect to the Underdark, and you've fought creatures there, which is what you decided to do after working closely with the Wardens and working within some areas of Ironhome. You don't remember much about those days. You hated it so much, you tried to push it from your mind. The only thing that you remember of that entire place is that the most dangerous criminals are kept in steel cages.
Okay.
The rest of the complex, which most of your duty was, you literally escorted caravans from the front gate into the dock, into the unloading area to unload, and then back out. That's pretty much all you did.
Mm-hmm.
You're not.
And you hated the work so much, you decided that risking your life against aberrations within Kyber was more fulfilling than this.
Okay.
Could I tell if Ironhome was worth?
Olean sense is more about magical means. Like, when you could sense the aberrations, it was such a counter-minus
No, just
energy.
from my own observations.
You'd have to get pretty close to do that. I mean, you can feel something and inspect something to see, like, if it has that magical hum to it, but from far distance away, it's, even to take a magic spell at this range.
So when we get back, I will. Anos, come here.
Hey, where's here?
Inside.
Okay, so you guys are going to try to make your way back in. Now, at this point, you're done for the night. By the time these guys get back, you are smashed out of your head. Perry probably joined you when he realized what you were doing and decided he was going to try to catch up. During that time, what were you doing?
I was gonna see if he would at least go to House Civis to get a message to Rigger for me.
Well, this late in the evening, House Civis is most likely closed except for house use.
And unless you have a secret passphrase, that wouldn't work. Because any letter bearing a seal would be suspicious.
Well, and you lack the ability to make the seal.
That's true.
Though
Not to
anything
mention
with
it's a
a
paper
seal
trail,
would be
so-
accepted by House Civis even at this hour.
Well, why not? I've got one last scroll. When I get back, I'm gonna burn a scroll.
For what?
Legend lore on Ironhome.
Okay. I pull that up real quick.
When you get back, did you know that slightly annoying painting can see people and show you them?
Oh, hold on, but they're not back yet.
Oh,
Hold on.
I thought they were already up.
I'll just.
I'll pull this up. Okay. All right, so we'll get to that in a minute. Now, when you guys, so you decide to forget the plan about going to House Civis, correct?
Yeah. 'Cause it was
So
closed.
so you're just kind of waiting for them to return.
Well, I'm cleaning the painting.
Okay. And just waiting for them to
I
return.
told them twice a day.
The painting makes very lewd and uncomfortable noises when you clean the paintings. I'm not going to do them here,
Thank you.
but yes.
Oh God, that means you'll do it. then it won't-
Use your imagination.
No.
Nick, please.
Please stop.
Okay, so when you two return to Thundergut, I need both of you guys to roll me a perception check, please. And I need you to roll me a perception check as well.
Well, this does not bode well for combat.
Oh.
That is a 25.
25?
Same.
25?
24.
Okay. So you three observant bastards notice that now, where before there was maybe one or two pairs of roving guards moving about, in that same geometric half-plate armor that you guys have come to notice, and as you guys have been to Thundergut before, you know that they are the City Watch. Now, where there was one or two moving through and just kind of casually, this isn't a place of high crime. You have to get to the outskirts for that. Now there is 5 different pairs of these guys moving about.
Fucking Patriot Act.
One of the guys who was watching was accosted by a pair of these guards and sent on his way.
Yes.
The other one is still the one in the hood, just basically melted in the shadows how you did, and they walked right past him. So as you all approach, you guys can see his distraction worked. It worked really well, and now there is a very, very much more increased.
Oh no, where's the last one?
No, he's skulking about still.
Oh,
avoiding the
where?
guards.
Tell me where.
I'll see if I can.
It's fairly out in the open. Like he basically, if there's a small courtyard, okay, where it's almost like kind of like a cul-de-sac almost, where where Lantern's home sits, and you have the buildings on the sides. He's on the opposite side, next to a fairly well-trafficked area, and he's got his shoulder against one of the taverns as music pours through the windows as he's watching this
I
place.
just got really an idea how to get rid of him. Do you want to talk to him, or do you just want to go?
Oh no, I got it. Don't fight about it. Is
But
there
I
a
want to
window
get him
near
arrested.
No, he's not where there's windows.
Just across the window within sight.
Well, currently you're far enough away that you don't know where he is. You can't see him.
Going off of his directions, would there be a window he can look at?
He is currently standing next to the Steelheart Inn. I'm sorry, Steelheart Tavern.
So once I get in range, I'm gonna thaumaturgy my voice towards the window.
Okay. How are you gonna get in the range?
Just walk up.
Okay. Okay. So you just walk through the crowd.
Yep.
Okay.
Here you go. We're gonna go ahead and
Okay.
silent cast this one.
All right.
Thaumaturgy up to window. Guards, there's a pervert watching me.
Even
There's
better.
a pervert by the tavern watching me naked. Help, guards!
Okay.
That's even better than what I had. I was gonna drop up one of my lockpicks.
That was worth it just to hear Vince talk in that voice. You see 2 of the groups.
That's a 28 on deception if it matters.
You see 2 of the groups look over towards the Steelheart Tavern, run up, and as they begin to move around, let me see if he notices them. Like he does notice them. As he sees these guys approach, one of them begins making their way to him. He turns and heads down the alleyway. As soon as he gets probably out of your line of sight, you see the guard come through, start looking around. He takes a few steps in the alley with his hand on his weapon, and turns back around and walks back around to the front of the Steelheart.
I need a slingshot with fluorescent balls.
2 of them
paintballs.
enter the inn, and a few minutes later will come out with very confused looks on their faces. While this is happening,
I'm just gonna walk in the front door.
as you walk up, you definitely see a couple of the groups of guards stop and take notice of you as you stand taller than most of the people here, and you're dressed how Flynn dresses.
Like David Bowie.
You,
Back
what do you
door.
do? So you try to make your way to the back door. Go to roll me a stealth check with disadvantage, please.
Are you juggling?
He's there.
Juggling an orb.
12.
12. Okay.
It's a diamond.
Right.
Okay.
No, I am fondling my staff
Uh,
of power.
Before Flynn steps inside, you
That
get
is
to the
loose.
back of the building, and as you do, there's a bunch of crates. There's an old cart that's back there, and with you just kind of lost in thought, you just kind of crash into the cart a bit. You hear wood creak and groan. You look around, stop for a moment. Doesn't appear to have alerted anyone. Kind of breathe a sigh of relief and can walk inside the building. I rolled a natural 1. You, sir, can just walk straight into the building. As you close the door behind you, you can see a couple of the guards standing in the center of this courtyard and just looking as you pass into this place. You close the door, and that's the last you see of them. So at this point,
if they stop and look at me, I'm going to go speak to them.
well, you're inside. As you look behind you, they're definitely looking.
Walk back up.
Okay.
Good evening. Is there something I can do for you?
Do you need something?
No, I was just wondering why you were staring at me. I know I'm quite beautiful, but I'm not
That's
sure.
my job.
To stare at me?
To stare at everyone.
Oh, you're very good at your job. Would you like a drink?
Not while I'm on duty.
When are you off duty?
Tomorrow.
Well, then tomorrow evening, perhaps you come have a drink with me.
I work in the evening.
Do you drink in the morning then?
Well, is there a better time to drink?
Sometimes the evening, depending on when you work, I guess.
Yeah.
So tomorrow morning you come have a drink. I buy it.
Sure, I'll take you up on that.
Yeah, bring a couple friends if you want. The Knights of Fate are nothing but friendly with Town of God.
Knights of Fate?
Yeah, I am Flynn.
I heard you.
Oh, do tell. What have you heard?
Wow. Some good things, some bad things.
What bad things?
Well, mostly you're an asshole.
I can be an asshole if somebody displeases me, yes.
He
But-
kind of chuckles and
I understand that most people are assholes when they're unhappy.
reaches in to his at his side and pulls out a rolled up piece of paper. There you go.
Unroll.
It's the Cornbrew Chronicle.
Would you like me to sign it?
That's for you.
Oh, is this a new one?
Just came out 3 days ago.
Is this the one where I kills the Demon King, or is this the one?
You should take a look.
Okay.
We'll be back for the drink. You have yourself a good night and you stay out of trouble.
Oh, of course. I'm just going to go inside and think happy, happy thoughts about a bodice that I once knew.
Sounds fine to me.
Yeah. I use the magic for lubrication. It's good.
I don't need to know that. I really didn't need to know that. Yeah, well, I guess the papers are right.
But
You have yourself a good night.
I'm a pinnacle of
He
virtue.
turns around and begins walking off.
Before he walks off. Yeah, what the hell? I'll pop the wings and give him the blessing of Alondra.
You give him the coin.
No, I just bless.
When the wings pop out, he just kind of. Don't see that every day. And again, you don't see bears running around this place either every day.
Bears? This is underground. They're not coming in the underground.
Yeah, you telling me? Turned out some magical joker thinking he can play some kind of prank without us coming down on him, but
I don't know,
he's got a
rubbed
rude
teeth and
awakening
is
coming.
grinning from non-ear to
We'll find
non-ear.
him.
Well, if you do find him, don't you want some magical assistance as a punishment?
We have it.
I'm just saying, I'm a fan of law and order.
I need to get back to my route.
Dun, dun.
You have yourself a great night.
I will. We'll see you in the morning, yeah.
Hey, he turns around and
Come back in. Guess what? This issue of the Cornbrew Chronicle says I did.
You know, with all the lies you tell, your nose is longer than mine.
What does it say? Wait, am I done cleaning the painting now?
What does this issue of the Cornbrew Chronicle say?
you don't know how. Well, it's been under the gold, and it was beat up pretty badly there for a while. So this thing is fairly dirty, and it takes you the better part of an hour to really clean. Like as you start, like when you go over something and you go to move on, he's like, "There's still those cracks. Come on now." I said, clean it, not wipe it down, and you have to. I mean, there's times when you start pulling out some of the tools that you use to clean your armor to just really get in the nooks and crannies. And again, as you get those pieces of grit that are deep down in the cracks or the crevices of that very ornate frame, you see his eyes flutter as and he makes some unholy noises.
Is she still cleaning when I get in?
No.
No, she'll finish by the time you get there. But as you all recollect, Thraka is literally he's over the bar. Like his head
Trashed.
is over the other side of the bar as he's just out on the bar itself.
I can't worry about Dad stalking me. If I'm
The
not
bartender,
worried about anything.
as you come in, he just locks the door behind you, and he just goes back to sit where he sits.
Okay. I'm gonna pull out a grease pin and draw on Thraka's face.
Okay.
And then we put the penis in the mouth.
I will give you a perception check with disadvantage.
2 net 20s.
Oh shit.
16.
Close
Plus
enough.
my perception, plus 1, so 17. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the best sleep you've had in a while. Though we will get back to you in just a minute.
I'm being stalked.
Yeah, we'll get back to you in
I
just a
think
minute.
this is my best work yet. Yeah.
What does it say?
Well, that's a penis, and that's
Oh,
a.
him. I'm like,
Roll me a performance check.
oh.
No, it's not my best work. Not even close.
It's like
It's a 13.
it's like the most crudely drawn. You can barely tell it's a penis. At first,
it's an
first you
army
thought it was like
protege
a
penis.
sausage or something,
Oh,
but
come on. A 13 isn't that bad.
but
It's an army porta-john penis.
Yeah. That sounds about right, actually.
uh,
I thought it was some sort of sausage.
it could probably use some veins, you know.
Put a little vein in there. Thank you for the positive criticism.
And as you all collect up, you're there before this. You see Thraka passed out. The bartender does not hear you come in, and he is snoring rather loudly. You see his son scurrying about still and attending to small things as his father is just sitting there snoring. Kind of gives you a sideways glance and a nod as you come in.
I just automatically give him a tip.
Okay, how much you give him?
Throw money at me.
Yeah, he's doing work. We rented this whole place, so I'll give him a platinum.
I'll put
You
him
give
to
him a
work.
platinum?
Yeah.
Dude!
As you drop a platinum in his hand, he's just like, "Ah!"
That's so rough.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
And he
Good job.
he takes off his boot, puts it in the bottom of his boot, and puts his boot back on. Don't tell my father you gave me that, please. Let's keep it between us.
Yeah, well, you're doing his work. He's sitting there sleeping. So.
Nah, he does it a lot.
In fact, and I give him another platinum.
Oh my god!
I put his dad to the task. Fucking
Hey.
alcoholic.
Like, are you generous or are you just having a bad day?
Both.
Well, pay the karma forward, I say. And he takes his boot back off, drops the second piece in there, and puts his boot back on. I tend to work at night, so if you need anything, just call on down. I'll bring it up.
At some point, I'll need the use of the kitchen.
Well, we don't really have much of a kitchen here. We got a little fireplace to heat up some stuff and maybe some porridge, but we don't have much in the way. I mean, Father thinks hospitality is how much brandy and wine and ale he can keep, but not much in the way of food.
Okay.
His idea of a good meal is some hard cheese and moldy bread. But I appreciate it. He goes about and does what he needs to do. Is you all collect yet again. Perry passed out with Raka, though Perry managed to stumble up to his room and fall asleep on his nice soft bed.
That's because he pushed out. Since he's not here, he pushed out.
He pushed out.
So,
So when I see you, I'll be like, do you know that irritating painting can show you people?
Love, I'm right here.
Shh! Talking to my brother. It's a private conversation.
somebody touched your crevices. They appear clean.
We made a deal.
There was a joke.
Are you fondling the painting now?
For an hour.
Painting.
For an
For
hour.
an
my
hour.
man.
I was trying to
And I
save
go
my
over the-
Those
husband.
stumpy fingers are very nimble.
I go over to the painting and I put my fist on the, like fist bump.
And you fist bump it.
I was trying to look at my husband.
Don't forget,
I laugh.
when you bed down for the night, don't forget to take me into the room with you.
And I go like this.
Wow, really?
Well, this thing, you can't hear what this thing said.
Oh, I-
Yeah. You're not inside yet.
You're Birdman.
Do you enter the, I'm not going to have you roll.
I'll take a quick look around and make sure the coast is clear, then I'll swoop around.
How long are you going to stay outside to check?
Yeah, I'll probably be behind Flynn a couple minutes.
Yeah, no one, you don't see either any of them return, and you don't see anybody else that's paying too much attention. Well, I'll tell you what, go ahead and roll me a perception check. Let's see how you do.
That is a 23.
So you don't see anybody paying too much attention to the place, though you do hear a few people talking about VIPs renting the entire place out. as Inish has had to send off quite a few people that have come seeking rooms.
Fuck them. This is
They're
our
probably
treaty.
talking about the wings thing too.
If they saw it, well, you definitely saw
We
him
jumped
do
out the
it.
door.
Yeah, you definitely saw him pop
Yeah.
out the wings, and you saw the guard just kind of disinterestedly like, huh, nice.
He was not impressed.
And he's like, Alondra be with you. He's like, blah, 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 and he just walks off.
Flynn was Flynn and walked off.
We get Jehovah's Witness.
Oh my god.
Have you?
Have you
Have you heard the good
Sir.
word about Lord Cthulhu?
But no. Hello, sir. Have you heard about your Lord and Savior Alondra? She makes you lucky so you don't lose your dick in a trap.
So, you all collected up.
Aye.
The bartender and a couple of your members are asleep. The four of you have the floor if you'd like to do any discussion before you go bed down for the night.
Legend lore first.
Okay, so with Legend Lore, here's what you find. Ironhome is 115 years old. Initially created as a new type of holding for various valuables. It was retrofitted into a prison when the war broke out. Many of the various city-states and other nations couldn't really house their more dangerous criminals, so a lot of them were sent to Ironhome. And Ironhome initially started out as just that small box, just the steel box that it was. They had to retrofit it and begin mining behind it in order to create an actual full-blown prison. Now, the prison remains mostly empty most of the time. In Dwarven society, shame is a big thing for keeping people from committing crimes. Shame on you, shame upon your family. If you do go to Ironhome and come back, for the most part, you need to have someone who is very good-natured and full of goodwill to give you an opportunity again. Because criminals do not do well in Dwarven society once they leave Ironhome. You know that like he does, the most dangerous of the criminals are still kept within the steel box, the original steel box. You know, initially it was supposed to be 12 vaults, but those vaults have been turned into cells. They are very heavily guarded, and basically just for its current location is why it's proved to be... Dreadhold is the most famous prison in Corvair. But even Dreadhold, it has this thing of, yeah, go ahead, escape if you want. It's a 100-mile swim in every direction. You know, good luck. This place is more along the lines of, you're never going to get out in the first place unless you try to fight your way out amongst a bunch of dwarves who are itching for a fight.
Anything magical in the legend?
You do know that, like all of the original vaults that the Warden Guild made with the Kundarak, they have anti-illusion magic, basically cleanses illusions, which will also reveal people who are invisible when they enter the main premises of it. The yard is fine. The yard doesn't have any kind of magical protection. It's basically just a typical prison. But the steel cage of it still has the original magics inlaid into it. The original runes are still functioning to this day, and they basically, the only things that they do, they only prevent illusion and that's pretty much, they cleanse illusions and reveal anything that's invisible. That's it. I mean,
So, maybe have a little plan here. Yeah? We swim. The earth told me that the water will take us to Frederick and his freedom. So we swim down through the lake and up the well.
you're pretty sure that if Fickrick is in Ironhome, he's definitely in one of the. He's definitely in the steel box.
And then we penetrate to the deepest, darkest part of Ironhome, the steel box.
Isn't that on the surface?
No, that's on the surface. The steel box is on the surface.
Yeah, I know. It's
Okay. Oh, okay.
I'm elaborating.
Okay, I will
He's
leave you to it.
elaborating on it.
I will leave you to it. I'm messing up your whole
Language
thing.
to the situation.
I'm sorry.
Suck
You
your
go
bit.
right ahead. I don't mean to
Full of
step on
shit
your
and I
flair.
wish to
It's-
make it
I don't mean to step on your moment.
Jesus. When once in there, we find him in one of the vaults that was converted to a cell in a most dastardly fashion. We spring him from the vault, take him to the yard, and then I teleport us back here for a beer.
We wouldn't be able to come back here because we get spotted by every guard in there.
Except for the teleporting.
Well,
You can see us teleporting.
Yeah, but it takes 3 hours to walk here. Once we have Fikrik, he rallies his allies, we throw the brother off the throne, and when we drink all the beer.
Fikrik would never have claim to Hass's
Still go
position.
to rock.
Yeah, but you have it. When we throw your brother off the throne and drink all the beer.
I don't have claim to Hass's position.
Sure we do once he abdicates.
But that means I have to stay here and run family affairs while you guys go save
No,
the world.
then you abdicate and then your other brother takes over.
That would.
Or
that-
you appoint your mother as a custodian. And then she takes over until we come back after saving the world. But first we drink all the beer.
Super important part of the plan.
I think you just want beer.
I think you just
Give
turned us into
beer.
Shaun of the Dead.
At this point, you have also collected for his little speech.
I think it's going to be a little harder than you've
Do they ever let
described.
them out of those cells?
Fine. Who got the well?
Do they ever let them out of those cells?
Who can swim through a giant
It's
lake?
not a. It's not as bad as like a gulag. Like people still get yard time, and the dwarves are very, very big on labor from their inmates, including the dangerous inmates.
So,
Oh, so it's Texas.
So they're breaking rocks.
It's like how Texas used to be.
No, Texas still has like.
No. How they used to be.
like chain gangs in the 50s.
Yes.
We just don't chain them anymore. We just have people on horses with guns.
They still
Well,
chain
yeah,
gang.
and they don't let the murderers and the rapists do that. They just let like the low level. This is no. They're like, we need the labor. You're getting out there.
So, yeah. It wouldn't be that easy, but nobody really expects you to swim through an impossibly dark lake, up an impossibly dark hole, not knowing which one's the right hole. Except I know which one's the right hole is because Mother Earth told me.
Oh.
What did you do to the earth?
I touched it.
Am I the only one that finds this?
That's the right spot.
Hello? Oedipus?
No, not Alondra. I touched Earth, not. That's very disgusting.
The painting pipes up and says,
Shut up.
if you're half as good at that as Triswin is, then the Earth is very lucky.
You still need to scrub it.
I go over to the painting and I say, she mentioned you could show people things.
Yeah.
I told you I could.
You can't be stealthy when you go to the business.
Do you
I know you
have...
have a lot on your mind. That's okay, but yeah. I told you that if you concentrate real hard on the person and then sometimes I can see it, see that person who you're asking about or who you want to see. But usually I can only do that once a day. It's a bit taxing on me.
Okay, so you can't do it right now.
Oh no, I would need to wait till whenever the bloody sun comes up in this place. You feel what time it is. Like you're like, it's 11:30, and these guys are like, I have no idea.
It's like, guys, it's 5 o'clock. You know?
So,
Yeah, at this point it's a little before. He's waiting for break.
Oh, just get joined.
We're about to take break, so we're about to take break.
Welcome to
Get out!
Just get in here.
Oh, that's a...
You already opened the door.
Sinful believer.
It's fault.
Yeah.
Kyle's like, ah!
Okay,
You didn't shake it.
Perry, you having drunk quite a bit, gone up to your room and passed out. The voices of your compatriots rouse you, and you've been getting some pretty good sleep lately. So still kind of half drunk, you still make your way. You need to pull yourself into Kyle, my man.
Oh.
Yeah, you need to hug up on
You
him.
know-
These cameras have very narrow focuses.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You will be able to
Suddenly
converse with this
very
conversation. For right now, though, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back in about 10, 15 minutes or so. thank you all very much. Give us a little bit. So I know a lot of people drink a lot of water. I know I have. I definitely need to get some caffeine in me. Waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning was not a good idea this morning. But we will be back in about 15, 20 minutes to continue, see what happens with this current circumstance that we find ourselves in. Let's go ahead and bring it back into the game and pick up where we left off now with Perry kind of halfway stumbling in. A little worse for wear, but very interested on the conversation that's happening now on their current plans for what's next on their journey within Corunda Gate.
Yeah, so it's very simple. We swim up the well, we pop up inside, then we go rescue your friend and brother.
How long are you gonna hold your breath for?
Oh, that's what we have you for. Remember the swimming thing we did last time?
Oh yeah, I'm good at that, aren't I?
Yeah.
He's good holding his breath when he goes down.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the puns. Anyway,
Yeah, buying me a beer.
we rescued the brother. We swim back out, or we just teleport, depending. And then we raise a defiant voice against the douchebag brother.
We should probably plan to swim, because I doubt that your teleportation will work in there. But give it a try.
Except for I know it's the only magics that have proof against his illusions.
Well then. But just in case, we'll plan B to swim back out.
Yeah. Plan B, you're still useful.
Hey.
We still don't know how.
Wonder if
the guards control through there.
your brother will abdicate, or we will abdicate him. And then you abdicate, and then your little brother's in charge. Or you appoint your mother a guardian, and then we go about the business of saving the world.
You make it sound oh so simple.
Yeah, it is simple.
Sounds simple.
But even the simplest things are difficult.
Okay. When do we strike?
Well, I need to sleep. And Perry is drunk as shit, so he needs to sleep. And then we should probably wash the cock off of Thraka's face. See? Cock.
Not your best work.
I thought it was a sausage.
And then we wake up and we go.
Morning raid, huh? I guess that will let my brother know my answer.
Yeah. It's before the deadline. And the best part is we arrive back before the news from the prison arrives.
I need a
Can we
few
turn
more
that?
idols for this.
Now check it.
Check it.
Secrets.
Easier than me getting up and starting to whisper to people.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I think Nick would thoroughly enjoy you whispering in his ear.
I know, that's why.
Especially give him a little tongue there too. Just stop
Really
looking at me,
kidding
that
me?
bro.
Hold on.
No,
Wait,
no.
the painting.
Oh god.
And I'm traumatized.
Really?
I'll get you in. How bad?
Oh, so the two. Oh, you missed this. We only had the one mic, so just make sure you speak up.
Yeah, man voice.
I will certainly try.
No, not drunk Nick voice, man voice.
Oh. There's a difference?
Yeah, right there.
Oh, okay.
Don't
So-
get that loud. I slur.
It's once a day.
Yeah,
It's already been used.
Harry, on the other hand, never sluts.
Done.
Ever.
Oh.
Ever sluts.
No, your accent just gets really thick.
Yeah, and that coffee hit
Hard
the
for
spot.
us to understand you.
Good answer.
What?
Okay, I'm gonna go
Can you hear the
into
voice I'm
the
coming
place
from?
with the fire and make a gourmand meal for all of us.
It's not sizable, but you can get some protein made up into like a nice little pot and then poured over some vegetables, and it wouldn't be bad stuff.
Okay.
So you guys will have yourselves a very, very late dinner, and you all will get the benefit of his gourmand feat. So you guys will have advantage on Constitution saving throws.
Excellent.
So
I'll have another ale.
while you were drinking, there was apparently a bear loose.
Did you turn me into a bear again?
No.
Nah.
Everybody just like.
Did you look at the card? Under the description.
I guess we're gonna rest and then go about our business.
Okay.
Possibly take a look at Mr. Mirror, Mr. Painter.
Oh yes, that would be a good idea.
At this point, I don't think I can sleep, so I will entertain myself talking to the painting.
He goes to sleep.
He's currently
Yeah, and he's in Trisman's room.
Oh.
It does just say one or more creatures, so.
not like that.
No, but look at the description.
And it
What
says
would that
12.
make it? Number
Now
6?
11.
Yeah, and it's
No.
got the types of creatures on.
No, it doesn't.
It has the. I'm
merely
sorry,
has the actual cards
card names.
themselves.
Yeah, it has the card names on it. So when you need to know which cards you have, let me know.
Okay.
Can I
We'll
read
find
the
the bear and tell me which card that
Cornberg
is.
Chronicle before
sorry?
Can I read the Cornberg Chronicle before I go to
Yeah.
sleep?
Yeah,
What does
he
it
has
say?
a new copy of it.
What
This one
does
is
it
from
say?
3 days ago. Yeah.
I'll read the Cornberg Chronicle.
What does it say?
Now, the Knights of Fate have had a frequent author within the Cornberg Chronicle consistently writing about the tales that they've had. It started with the sudden appearance of Triswin and the others that arrived from Barovia back into Eberron, and their adventures in Trebisanara, their adventures with an Omu, their jaunt into the Mornland as well as Marek Dar. They have become quite famous, and the tales run the gamut of just completely wildly inaccurate, making you all seem like you're just unstoppable powerhouses of magical might. This current edition seems a little different. While your current tales of you heading into the Eldine Reaches, though they don't go into any real detail about that, they tend to go into more detail about the individuals that you are. And it is a very unflattering piece. And most of it seems to be completely made up.
Is there an author name attached?
There is. It appears to be the same author as before.
Seems like we might have offended him.
Well, he has offended me, and we all know what happens
Or
next.
someone has paid him.
The author's name is Sheldon.
Shelby.
Shell
I guess someone
dead.
with a name like Sheldon talk shit about anybody else named got a name like Sheldon.
He doesn't have a name like Sheldon. He has a name like Sheldon.
Shell dead.
So it's the elven equivalent.
Shell
Or
dead.
gnome equivalent.
Possibly.
Cornberg Chronicle does lie within Cornberg.
Going to ban an elf. Going to ban a gnome. Going to fry his midget ass.
So, may I ask for elaboration on the unsavory bits about?
Oh yes,
Thundergut?
you can. It shows that Rotmir is a braggart and a drunk who is incapable of controlling his impulses. It shows that Aranos is just a bird that caws and makes himself annoyingly known to everyone around him.
I don't know, that's fairly spot on, except for the time there.
Harry is known as a hound, and while he's not
Mind
able
that.
to pull a quality of woman that most people would deem acceptable, he's willing to take all comers.
yes,
I
that's
thought you said it was
Um,
unflattering.
Thraka's name is spelled wrong, and very little is known about him except that he's giant and a doofus.
yeah. This is actually pretty accurate. So
The other new member of the group, going by the name of Tiki. Tiki kind of just smells a lot. Barmaid said that he just kind of stunk and was very off-putting.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
And
Ricky.
Flynn is known
Not
as
me, I'm good.
the flamboyant asshole of the group.
I gotta be honest, most of that's on. Most of that is
I
kind
am
of on.
not an asshole. I am a kind and caring individual who spreads joy and luck among the populace.
Ah,
Why
sorry.
is it about?
The only
Bullshit!
The only thing I have trouble with is the description about me. I'm like,
That's the most unflattering out of the lot. Jesus.
I never lied about it. You
Well,
never
that
asked who
line-
my mama was.
I like
I'm
that
so
so
good.
new that they're just like, he's big and he's clumsy.
He's a doofus.
It's a doofus.
any word about Kate from this edition?
You guys know that the last one that came out talked of Cade's departure from the Knights of Fate.
Yeah, so I think your brother may have paid somebody to write some bullshit about us.
Sounds
So
about right.
now I want to set him on fire, yeah?
Is it time that we go back to retrieve the book yet?
And then I can set the author on fire. This is very good. There will be much fire.
You guys are
I
actually
break his
getting
legs first.
very close now to the time when the Tome of Strahd should be translated.
So we go.
Well, first,
Why do we care so much about Strahd again? Like,
you'd like existing, correct?
He tries to destroy the world.
Hmm.
We'll make it eternal night, vampire slavery, all that awful shit.
Or just completely obliterate our plane of existence with
oh fuck it, I'm too drunk for this shit. Goes back to sleep. Just,
Alright, so I guess we're gonna rest and then go to the lake.
get the painting.
Okay. So you guys gonna rest and prepare for the next day?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
After another ale.
And we'll
Thraka.
move the painting to
While you snore away, drunk out of your mind, that you found that this is one of the only ways that you've been able to actually sleep since being granted the gift from your patron. In your mind's eye, you see yourself walking through the trees, enjoying the sounds of the forest as you move about, bow in hand, arrow at the ready, a clear shot on a buck. As you draw back and take aim, it looks up at you and springs forward, ruining your shot and heading off deeper into the forest. The hair on the back of your neck rises on end, and suddenly you can hear labored breathing behind you. As you slowly turn to look, a great feeling of dread begins to grip your heart. You feel the blood pounding in your ears. After a moment, you stand face to face with an entity darker than any shadow you've ever seen. You never understood what black is before, but this is darkness personified, except for the 3 points of aquamarine light that sit at its depths. You open your mouth to scream, and this thing lunges. You start awake, breathing heavily, sweating. The tavern around you is quiet, except for the soft snores of the bartender sitting at the other side of the bar. The next morning, you all wake. The painting has a smile on his face. Looks to you when he sees you. Is she always so prudish?
Well, she's a woman that acts like a dwarf, so I guess yes.
Well, you have to convince her. She has to understand. Wearing clothes to sleep is just stupid.
I have idea. Maybe when we erect the keep, we hang you in the bathroom.
I don't want to see any chamber pots though.
No, the room with the bath. Not so.
Do any of you use the bath?
Yeah.
I don't want to be hung there. The bad severely outweighs the good.
I'm pretty hung there.
What are y'all talking about?
Why don't you get the
Nothing you need to worry about, love. Thank you for keeping me in your room as promised. We'll see if you can keep your word for how long. That's only 13 days left.
Yeah,
I
vibe it.
think he's got a little bit of
Vibe it
dirt in the
good.
crevice over there. Maybe
Oh,
we should
and-
take care of that.
You notice while you polished up the ironwood of the frame, it's once again looks tarnished. Not nearly as bad as it was, but it doesn't look like it's the polished sheen that you left on it the previous night.
Maybe an hour.
After breakfast, love. It doesn't feel like it'll take you an hour, but it's going to take probably 5-10 minutes in order to clean it up again.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. Keeping your promise. This time, though, he doesn't let out the sounds that he did the previous time.
Good.
So as you collect up for breakfast, the bartender is bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. He's moving about. Y'all ready for breakfast?
No, but there will be some guards coming by for drinks off duty. They are okay, they can drink. And then they leave.
Okay.
Figured you could use some profit.
No breakfast for anybody.
Yeah.
I'll have some breakfast.
All right. He puts some cups on the counter.
Clack.
Pours some ale into each one. Pulls out a few eggs, cracks them, dumps them into the beer, and pushes it forward.
Yeah, that's breakfast, alright. Oh, yeah, his 20 gold for the drinks for the guard. That's enough, right?
Aye. And how about you? What about your tab?
How much?
Yeah, you're drinking with me. I'd say we split it. Call it a gold piece for the bottles.
How much is it for all of it?
Let's just call it a gold piece for the bottles. I'm not gonna be
Rocket drops 10 gold pieces on there in a flat.
There you go.
that covers it.
You
Might as well not argue with a
sleep anymore, so you help me
with a
out
profit.
I appreciate it, Duff. You want another drink tonight? I got another bottle of brandy.
Yeah. Maybe you go find a very good bottle. We celebrate tonight.
This is well, I'm trying to procure a good bottle. How good are we talking here?
Very good. Something from under.
Oh, I'm not much for wine.
Finest dwarven mead.
Wow. Dwarves don't do the mead so well. But the Breland mead? Oh, that's some good stuff.
Yeah. So, you go find the Breland mead and the dwarven ale
I have a small cask of mead, dude. Enough for maybe 10 cups.
and the best brandy you've ever tasted.
That'd be the bottles I got here.
So, more of those. We have a party.
Let me see if I can find a few more.
Yeah, this is good. We go now, yeah.
Hey,
Go to the lake.
So will we be watched? Are we going to have to?
Not going to join the dwarves
yeah,
for the
try to
drink?
sneak out without being watched.
Okay, so, you guys are done with your planning?
Yes.
I want to try to scry on Fickrick.
Okay. As you approach the painting, and what do you...
I would like to see somebody, but I know that you ask for things in return.
Well, I'll give you one freebie. Just one, just the one though.
You sure?
Yeah. You'll laugh and let your sister with me.
Yes, that's nice. For my brother, Fickrick.
Well, I want you to get a good picture of him in your mind there, and think about it. It's gonna take a few minutes. Ask your sister there. It takes about 10 minutes for me to hone in on the person and see him. You'll be able to see and hear the person now. This is basically just a regular scrying spell that he's using, but he can't focus on locations like a typical scrying spell can, and his DC is higher than what the typical scrying spell does. So it's slightly different than what a regular scrying spell would do. As you focus on it, Pickrick's face, seeing his smiling, kind of goofy half grin that he always had, his shorter hair and beads that he always wove into his short beard. All right, you got the good picture, so go ahead and you got to make contact with the painting. Just the frame is nice. I don't need your man hands on me.
I touch the frame of the painting.
You instinctively close your eyes and focus hard on Fickrick. Okay. After a few moments, when you think, I don't think this is working, suddenly your perception is pulled out of your body.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you come up into the clouds, past the mountain. You see the mountain below you. You see a wisp of clouds beneath you. And suddenly you drop in hundreds of miles an hour, almost sickeningly fast. And suddenly you're deep in the mountain again. You burrow through the mountain, then through a steel box. And suddenly you are in a small 10-foot by 10-foot room with a heavy door on its end.
On the way there, do I know enough to...
It's just flavor. This is the movement's just flavor. Yeah.
I don't know exactly where in...
No, you don't know exactly where.
Other than
you can only perceive the target and what's directly around the target.
Uh-huh.
And you can see pretty much everything that's around the target. You see Fickrick. He sits in a very plush chair that barely fits in the room. He has his feet up, and he is currently seems to be enjoying a hot breakfast. There are dozens of books, scrolls, and various other contraband that has been attached to the walls, probably with some kind of gum to get them to stick. He seems heavier than you remember. He was always a bit on the slight side, but he seems as if he's put on some weight.
Fat weight or muscle weight?
No. Definitely in the midsection.
Okay.
And he seems to be happily munching away on a meal that looks to be like it's the same crustacean lobster that swims in the lake beneath Corunda Gate. And he is happily picks up a thing of wine, sniffs it, drinks it, sets it down, and after you can concentrate for 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You watch him for the entire time?
Entire time.
Okay. He doesn't seem to be aware of your presence. The sensor that you're looking for is invisible, and he has no means to see it, and doesn't until near the very end. You see him start to look around, almost like it feels like he's being watched, but doesn't ever look directly at the sensor at any time. But seems as if he's healthy at the very least, and seems as though looks like he's living
better,
like the Chapo lifestyle within prison.
He's paid enough guards off to where he gets what he wants, even though he can't leave.
Okay.
At least that's the Chapo lifestyle.
Well, I come to, and I get a strange look on my face, and it says, well, fuck me, he's living better in there than he ever lived out here.
So if we don't rescue the Fickrick?
He's not in danger. He's gained 20 pounds. He's eaten lobster, reading fine literary works.
That sounds like Vicar.
At this point, I don't know if he would want to be broken out.
And where's it gonna go? We don't even know if Viger is friendly anymore.
Well,
Yeah.
there goes that idea.
But we with those who brother, and then it's all good.
Well, he's okay. We did all this planning for the wrong target.
Why you say the wrong target?
Mother.
Mother? Or
Maybe he still needs rescuing. He doesn't have his freedom.
No. But I thought he would be in chains and beaten.
Prison's still a prison, even as a cage of guilt.
Well, if he bribed that many resources inside the prison. I wonder if we could throw some... I don't know the people, though.
Yeah, he has all the connections. Well, those are the connections we need to get rid of your brother.
That's probably why he's in
So
there.
why don't we just go visit him?
Because they wouldn't let us.
Visit him the same way we're planning to break him out.
Is there no means to get into the prison?
I can petition,
But then we have to wait, and we have to tell the brother today whether or not we stay.
and then Hasseth has full authority to say
You have
no.
a professional forger and notary sitting right next to you.
Well, could you...
Can you forge the House Civis?
I don't think it's House Civis, it's House Kundarak.
They're the ones that
Kundarak
provide
is
seals.
You would know if
provides
you
the
wanted
seals.
entrance within Ironhome. It would be House Kundarak.
Well,
I need
no.
to see an original.
You have
So
to
we
seal.
could break in and go talk to them that way, but then we risk upsetting the guards and we stand out
So-
with them.
Ratmir, go ahead and roll me a history check.
History check. I'm not the best at that.
Way.
5.
Anybody trying to help him?
Yeah, I'll help out.
So go ahead and roll with advantage.
Excuse me.
10.
Remember, you worked the gate at Ironhome, allowing carts to be transported in.
Uh-huh.
You've seen hundreds of these Kundarak missives allowing entrance into Ironhome. And while you would have disadvantage on the roll, you
Normal
think
roll.
you could describe it to him and have him write it out.
So
Okay.
basically, normal roll.
Alright, I'll assist him in trying to make forgery.
That's gonna be fun.
Because you do have something on your character sheet still.
Do you actually have the Kundarak paperwork? Or?
The
Yeah.
signet ring.
Yeah, I've got a signet ring for House Kundarak.
That is how
Anything else?
you make the seal.
Depending on how you interpret the rules, I've got so many advantages to this, it's kind of fun.
It'll be a straight roll.
Well, no, I'm talking about being a Kenku, and if you actually use the synergistic rules, I'm proficient in forgery and calligraphy.
Straight roll. Go ahead.
That is... that's shit. Hold on, that is... Wait, what attribute do I add to this? I never know what to add. I think
Okay,
last
with
time
forgery,
With forgery. yes.
it'd be dexterity.
Alright. So that's a 12.
12? Looks pretty good to you. Looks legit.
Okay.
Handwriting's a little flowy for what most dwarves do, but
So I'll stamp
I
it.
use one of my own damn feathers. Screw you.
and you have a missive in there. You know the captain of the guard's name,
Okay.
so you can have his name forged upon there.
Okay.
And you've seen enough that you can kind of mimic it a little bit out to write it out that he can copy. It looks pretty. From what you can remember, it looks pretty decent to you.
Okay.
I knew I should have tried to jack some paperwork from the Thieves Guild.
Okay.
Someone else should probably dress like.
No, we should probably keep this to as few people as possible. Again.
The persuasive one, the sneakier one, sneaky
Yeah.
ones, and the one who actually needs to talk to the brother.
Oh, yeah, right.
Sorry, Twistern, you tend to clink everywhere. And you shouldn't wear the armor.
Okay.
Because if this gets far enough
No,
up
if
the
you're
chain, it'll probably
walking
be found out.
in, are you trying to sneak in?
No. Fancy armor. It's the accoutrement of a dwarf.
Yeah,
And you should probably come with us because you know where the well is, and if they find out our paperwork, we're probably going to have to use it.
I just teleport this out.
If we're inside the prison when they find out.
Yeah.
Then-
It's not forged
Oh,
against that.
right. I thought it was.
It's not her house.
Not even Ryger's palace is
Fortified against
fortified against that. Like you're talking magic, like Liamin powerful to do that, and now Liamin's is, but he has the circle that was destroyed,
Right.
that he personally destroyed.
So we go.
Right.
And the two of you wait around.
Apparently, I'm waiting around.
It's God's coming. You entertain some yet.
The person who helps us breathe, the person who helps us talk, the person who needs to
We'll have
talk,
something
and the
like that
person
this
who
time.
wrote the damn fortune.
It'll help.
Taking out the-
Oh, that's alright.
Hey.
They know you're around here.
I'm just gonna get drunk again today.
Didn't go,
I had a
didn't
bad
go to
dream.
Lester's Minions and wear something like that.
Just keep drinking, just like chase the dreams away.
Take them away. Go away.
That's reasonable.
You need,
So,
to, you need to get yourself
the-
a dream catcher.
The four of you exit this place.
I think that works on the at least.
Can we sneak out the back?
You can attempt to. So I need a stealth check
I
from
will
each of you.
attempt to
Pass
sneak.
without a
I
trace
will
first.
attempt to sneak out and look.
So he's
Do you
gonna.
want to sneak or just pass without a trace?
Well, you might as well pet.
It's only good for an hour, but I can do it again.
An hour is more than enough to get you out of the city.
Yeah.
I should probably go ahead and do that then.
Left behind.
So everyone go ahead and roll.
There's a brute
Ten.
squad we got left behind.
I've actually got +9 to persuasion.
Well, the thing is, we're not trying to engage anything.
Ooh.
Do I have advantage or just plus 10?
Plus 10.
Okay.
39.
Oh shit.
22.
26.
37.
So we vanished from the campaign again.
As you all step out the back,
Like, if you try to, like, dig in their pocket accidentally,
you begin to move through the
We'll never do
shadows.
that anyways.
You make it to the pathway of the Lantern's Way and can begin traversing down. About 30 minutes along the path is when your spell finally wears off. After another 2.5 hours of walking, you all make your way to Ironhome. Once again, this now very familiar to you as well as you, and this is the first time you've seen
I
it.
wasn't there.
Yeah. But you all have seen this place before except for Arnos. As you all approach, again, you are hailed to stop. A contingent of 4 guards comes out. They march in military fashion until they get within about 20 feet of you. When they stop, one of them steps forward. What brings you here?
I step forward and present the writ.
Takes it from you, looks at it.
Did you want it?
God.
Then looks up at you, looks down at it. First visitor he's had. Alright. The procedures are simple. When you get through the yard, you're going to surrender all of your weapons and your magical accoutrement to us right now. We'll lead you through the yard. Don't look in the eyes of any of the convicts that are in there. Once you get inside, you do as we tell you. You and one of these other chaps of your choice can be escorted with you to a cell where you can speak to them. Don't try any funny business. We'll lock the place down. We'll kill you all. Understand? Alright?
Understood.
The others reach forward. They hold their hands. Weapons, please.
Quiver. Bow. Spear.
Wouldn't have brought much with me.
The staff, too.
You would deprive a simple priest
Yes.
of his walking.
Yes, yes.
You are not getting out.
You are not Gandalf.
You give it up?
Yeah.
The one this way. You see the guy mumble for a moment, and he looks at each of you, studies you real close, studies you real close, studies you real close. Now, have any of you tried to withhold any weapons?
No.
No.
Have any of you tried to withhold any magical weapons in particular?
No.
Technically, I think I still have the sun sword. Forgot about that one.
Do you hand the hilt of the sword?
Hey,
When he
it's
looks
really,
at
it's mostly good as a pair of.
it, he just kind of he just nods. It's obviously glowing magical.
I'll pull up out my fingernail file and hold it up questioningly.
Yeah. Then you all are escorted in.
It's a shit, man.
The double doors that you all have seen. I mean, these things are thick. We're talking 3-inch thick steel on these doors, and they're about 15 feet tall. They are slowly pulled open using a chain and pulley system that opens these doors. Enough for you guys to just walk in, then the doors are closed shut. You can see there is no fencing of any kind within here. It is a straight shot from this towering wall, about 40 feet tall, a straight shot from the yard to the main building itself. You do see that there are quite a few of these convicts milling about, though making eye contact with them doesn't seem to be a problem, as most of them don't even raise their head to look in your direction. A lot of them are raking, policing up trash in the area. Some of them are just running laps, just trying to get some exercise. Others are just kind of standing around and talking, and they seem to be chewing on some kind of strange black root that none of you guys have really seen. You can roll me a history check if you want to know what it is.
5.
You don't. It doesn't ring a bell. You know it's familiar, but you don't remember what it is. You all are escorted into this building. The doors open. It is segmented like a stronghold. You guys come into the first floor. The doors behind you are locked. Front doors are opened. You are allowed into the next area. The next area splits. It's a T section. The right-hand section immediately leads off to what's considered the 12 cells, and the door ahead of you leads down deeper into what the actual dungeon is. On top, beyond that is where
very best to track through this place.
Okay. The top area, the rest of the steel area, is mainly for guards and storage and other such things. The one area is the only inmates that are kept within this section of the prison. The rest, beyond the door ahead of you, is into the rock of the mountain.
What's the door ahead of us look like?
It's the same steel door that you guys have been coming through. They're basic. They're fairly basic, heavy steel doors. That's it. They don't appear to be. Now that you've gotten up close and personal, go and roll me an Arcana check.
Yay! I'm screwed in combat. 20.
Yeah, don't worry,
20?
we're going to be teleporting here anyways.
You get a very faint sense that there is some type of magical quality, but with your legend lore, you get the idea that it's probably the anti-illusion magic. It doesn't seem to have any other kind of properties to it.
Okay.
Hey, where do our weapons go? Do we get to see at least a general idea?
Oh yeah, well when the first room that you walk in, it's literally handed to a gentleman behind a steel desk,
Yeah.
and then he puts it into a room behind him.
Right. Okay.
So they are under lock and key.
Right then.
As you two are left within a kind of very uncomfortable waiting room, as there's no place to sit. As I assume Flynn is the one going with him. Am I assuming correct? It's only 2 of you.
Yeah.
It's him and one other of his.
So it would
Sure.
you two.
Unless you wanted someone to, give him water breathing. Don't take to sneak yourself out.
Don't take too long.
Yeah, as you all head down, you're escorted to him, his room, his cell. His cell is the very, very last cell. As you guys go down, go to both roll me a perception check, please.
Yay! I finally failed.
Natural
one.
20.
7. 10.
You're just so kind of about this place. You just hate being in such a confined space that you're just kind of staring ahead and walking with the guard. You hear that there's 6 cells on each side. You recognize these look like retrofitted miniature vaults.
Yeah.
Probably that would have been paid for by individuals that want specific items or riches kept under lock and key that have been retrofitted for prison cells. And these doors show it. And you can faintly hear that behind only 3 of these doors as you walk down, is there any kind of movement inside of them. And you can see that under those doors, there's bits of light and the tiniest of crack along the bottom of the floor. The only other room that you see a crack of light beneath it is Fickric's cell at the end.
Mm-hmm.
As he approaches, he bangs on the door 3 times, opens the slide on it, and goes, "Fickrick! You got company!" And you just hear a surprise, "Huh? All right, well, about goddamn time." The door opens up, and he goes, "I'll be at the end of the hall." Walks back, turns around at the end of the hall, still holding the keys in his hand, and just watches you. He's still far enough that he's out of earshot, but he watches you. The door is still open. Fickrick kind of staggers to his feet, then and like, "Oh, it's about time he comes." "Rosmir? What the hell brings you here? What are you doing here? Of all places?"
Well, I was summoned by Almighty Hasseth.
"Oh, I take it you've already had a conversation with him."
Yes.
Oh, ho, 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 ho. Getting a big in his britches, ain't he? Come into my humble home. You may want to take a step back, though. It's not really built for people of your size, but if you want, you can have the chair. And he goes and he sits on what you now see. You couldn't really tell before with your sensor, but it is a feather bed.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a cot. It's a thick feather bed. As he sits on it, kind of reclines back, you can see that there are pillows all along the wall that he leans against. "What brings you to my home now?"
Are you running this place?
Far from it, but I still have enough pull. The Kundrak name still gives me a bit more clout than some of the other shites in this place.
The way Hasseth was talking about you, I would have sworn you were in chains and beaten.
Well, it's Hasseth. That's what he's going to say. If he had his way, it'd probably be what's happening, but he's not going to deem himself to even look in this direction. Come on now. I'm still Fickrick. Still got a few people that I can call favors in. Especially old Dan C over there. Standing at the end of the hall. Good man, that one.
So,
Got 4 kids now and another on the way. Very expensive, very expensive.
so you don't need any help?
I respect his level of connection.
Well, see, here's the problem, brother. I love you. But if I break out of this place, I'm not but a fugitive for the rest of my life. And Hasseth, make sure that that life is nice and short.
But if Hasseth not a problem anymore,
Hasseth will always be a problem.
unless he's not a problem.
Problem is that Hasseth has all the friends in the right places. He's got the back end of the main houses.
But if he has accident,
It probably wouldn't be an intelligent thing to do. If it can be blown back onto anyone, then at this point you're talking war. And I don't say that lightly. You're talking about a war among the houses, the likes of which he'd never seen. It's not just the Kondaraks that he's been dealing with. He's been dealing with the Neath. He's been dealing with Jarasko. He's been dealing with a few of them. He's got some pull, apparently. He's been setting up this for the last 15 years. Slowly but surely, behind the scenes. I mean, I knew he was smart, but I never was suspected him that was capable of something like this. Now, don't get me wrong, brother. I hate the son of a bitch. He threw me in here, all for besmirching the family name. But if you notice, you ask anybody out there, they think I went abroad. They don't know I'm in prison. He's not going to do anything to hurt the family name. Least of all,
Well, he's destroyed the family already. Thalgrat and Grugnag aren't living in the estate. Mother's living in servants' quarters.
to be fair, Grognog, he's more about the church than anything else, but him and Hasseth, they no see eye to eye very often, but Hasseth isn't going to go straight out and just try to kill him or anything like that. But Thalgrat, well, he's been on a downward spiral since father died. Decided to try to make his way out in the world like another brother I know. Now, I don't think Hasseth taking over things, I don't think that didn't influence his decision, at least a little bit, but you know how close he was with father. He loved him. But father never really had much of an eye for him. He still took it hard.
Well, Hasseth's demanding I support his every whim. As second.
Is it true?
Is what true?
I mean, I asked sister the last time she came through, but she wouldn't tell me a thing. Is it true you have the mark?
Yes.
Brother, you are one crazy bastard, you know that? That's why I love you. But you know how closely they can throw those marks, especially if, from what Hassus has said to me, about how extensive yours is, then they would want right control of that. They don't want that getting out into the world. Have somebody else pick you up, use it for their own ends. If you got the full power of the mark like Hassett does, then you know you can lock a place down tighter than a nun's cunt.
That's not always that tight. Sorry.
I
Well,
like him.
What were you doing with that monastery?
Nothing.
well,
Ah,
I'm kind of in a sketchy area.
Well, brother's gonna make your life live in hell if you don't do what he wants you to do. That's for damn sure. But I'm pretty sure he hasn't threatened you with physical violence. I mean,
He's done that.
well, you're one of the Knights of Fate, aren't you? I don't think brother thinks he can just have you killed like you have me thrown in prison.
Well, he's threatened to take a contract out on me by House Deneath.
Yeah, that sounds more like what brother would do. Try to have you thrown in prison, get the other houses involved, where you have less of a chance to try to rise up against before you, or else you hurt the family right there. I know you, brother. You got a good head on your shoulders. I mean,
Yes,
you're
but I'm
kinda
not a politicker. I'm
Well,
a
no, you-
soldier.
thick as an ironwood, but doesn't mean you're a bad man. Politicking isn't for everyone, brother.
Then, martially, I can fight brother, but if I play his game, I lose.
The problem with this, if you really want to go after Hasseth, you can. I think you may even be able to take him down. It just depends on how much effort you want to put towards this. How important is this to you? Hasseth
Well-
can do a lot of things. He has a lot of pull in the right places. But-
We've got stuff to do. And we don't need House Deneath on our tail.
Well, brother, this is a decision for you to make. It's a tough one. I don't envy the situation that you're in. I really don't. I wouldn't want to be sitting by Hath's side, being his yes man, any more than you would.
Well, that's it. I'd probably be in here because I would not be his yes man.
Well, brother, the problem being that, how can I put this, you and the Mighty Nine, Jesus fucking Christ.
Damn.
You and the Knights of Fate. You and the
I'll
Knights of
just
Fate,
edit
brother.
that out.
Thank you. You and the Knights of Fate, brother. You're something that this world hasn't seen since before the war. You're people that, your names are on the lips of people all across Corvair. That have become very popular. For a good reason. If the stories are, that have been told can be true, which, judging by what you all have been through, and especially what you did for me with the shards, I believe it.
Well, the latest one is very unflattering, so I believe Hasseth has paid the author to write inflammatory texts.
That wouldn't be beyond the scope of what he would do. That sounds like something more that he would do than try to take you on by force. You see, brother, there hasn't been legends like what you have been doing in an age. And at this point, the most powerful people in the world are the Dragon Mark houses. But now they have to contend with the likes of you all. You lot, you've done some remarkable things. You headed into the Mournland, for God's sake.
Yes, that wasn't that bad.
Well, not only that, apparently you did something in there that hadn't been done before. You freed the tower. We got the Fae all over the Corvair and beyond talking about it.
That was that bad.
Well, that's a huge thing. But you got to understand, you're making people nervous walking around like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to understand.
So, I should just sacrifice Mother's happiness and go save the world then.
You know, if we could come back
Brother.
later.
Have you known a tougher woman than our mother in this world?
No.
Neither have I. Mother's right where she wants to be. Believe it or not, if she didn't want to be there, she wouldn't be. Don't forget that. But remember, some of my contacts used to be her old contacts. Don't forget that.
So,
Now, brother, I know you've been away from the family for a while, and that's good for you. I'm glad you were able to get out, and I'm glad you saved our sister. As much as she's a pain in my ass, I love her. And I'm glad for it. But brother, this is not your fight. If you want to take, you have to understand that if you go after Hassett and you take him down, you're gonna have to take his place. And brother, for you, I think that may be a fate worse than that. But it's your choice. The things that he's doing, it's no different than what Father did. He's just better at it.
is there any way I can position him to honor Father's last contract with Prince Durand?
I believe he will in time. It's just, you have to understand he was against it from the beginning. Not the marriage so much. The marriage, fine. Get some political clout in that area for Kundarak. But to actually have an enclave with Enrico Port, I mean, brother, that's far out of the way. And that's keeps our operating cost high. I mean, at this point, I'm pretty sure Hassett is dragging his feet on any of the shipments, on any of the equipment or the people that head there. A full enclave, that's a hell of a thing, but Ryger can take care of himself. He's got his own political clout that he can throw around. Our brother, I may hate him, but I love him. But he's doing things for this family that Father tried to do for years and couldn't get done. You have to understand, brother, this is how it is with all the houses. Except maybe Vitalists, those hippies.
So you're okay, and you'll be okay the rest of your life?
Well, I don't want to be stuck up here for the rest of my life, but as long as I play his game, maybe here in a year or two, he'll let me out and make me his lapdog in the underworld like he had planned to do in the beginning. This is my punishment for telling him no, just like you. But you and I differ. If I pick up a hammer, he's not going to be too afraid. Neither were the 20 men surrounding him, but you stand up, Ratmir, and you hold the hammer against him, well, I don't know if his bravest men will be coming after you. You become something of a legend around here, especially within the wardens.
But if I leave, I sacrifice the freedom to come back.
Aye, brother. You do. You're gonna sacrifice a lot. You won't be able to use the Kundrak name. You'll basically be kicked out of the family. As long as has his way. It's a hard thing, brother. You have to...
So, have they treated Grugnak like that?
Honestly,
Thalgrat?
honestly, when it comes to Thalgrat, I don't know where he went. But he doesn't bear the mark, and he's third brother in line. If anything, you're who they care about more. Nog, that pious bastard. He doesn't like Hasseth any more than you or I do, but he has his own politicking to worry about. If Hasseth has his way, we may have a brother pretty high up in the church pretty soon. High enough to tell Triswan what to do.
No one tells her what to do.
Yeah, they can try. I know she's... I swear to God, she may not be a dwarf, but she sure the hell inherited that stubbornness.
She has a head like the granite around us.
Oh, it's harder than steel, I think. I think it's harder than this steel, and he...
Yeah.
But brother, you have a hard choice. You're either going to honor the family that you come from, or honor the family that you made. It's up to you. But if you were to ask me, I like reading about the Knights of Fate.
Well, then I'm inclined to do you proud.
Oh, you already do me proud, brother. He stands up and bends over and gives you a hug.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, goddamn armor. Pinches. Brother, when you left, I was proud of you for going to find our sister. You know that. Hell, I helped smuggle you out. You know how I feel about it. But maybe this isn't the life for you, brother. You'll always be my brother. You always will. You'll always be Nog's and Thalgrat's brother too. You'll always be a brother to Tristram. Hasseth? Hey baby, Mina's a mad dog. He's your brother too. Now, maybe one day, like father, he'll come around and soften a bit. See the error of his ways. You saving a few thousand people go a long way to help that. He's just worried you're gonna make the family look bad.
Well, that's always worried about.
Prove him wrong. I think you can. There's crazy shite happening out there. We got, from what I hear in here, you got conductor stones and the lightning rails given out. You got teleportation circles from House Orion suddenly just not working, or sending people in the middle of the ocean.
That's almost as bad as ending up in the middle of the forest.
Aye.
I hate trees.
Amen, brother. But
Something pains me.
someone's got to stand up and do something. And at this point, the houses, they're just circling the wagons, gonna defend their own. Everyone's waiting for the next war to break out. And when that happens, I don't know if it'll ever stop. We need people like you out there, brother. Doing the right thing. But it's up to you. I'm not going to, and I forgot this whole time, I made music for this and I didn't need music. But, you can hear he has a music box playing the whole time he's speaking. And it's orchestral music.
Okay. Dwarven
You
orchestra.
sense a very arcane bent to it. No, it's more Ondarian orchestra,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
So that is a very nice music box.
I like it.
Yeah, I do.
It's good stuff.
You trade for it?
I kind of need my music in here. There's not much else to do.
That is a fair point. I have a painting you might like.
We do not have that painting.
Well, they don't really allow me too much in paintings. How big is it?
Oh yeah, that's a problem. It's very big. And
Oh.
it talks a lot.
It might be nice to have someone to talk to. I get an hour in the yard a day, and that's it. But I am deemed the violent or dangerous political prisoner that I am.
Yeah, about as dangerous as my cat.
No, look, brother.
We don't even have a
If it gets real bad in here, you don't worry. I'll find my way out. And I'll find you. And I'll bring mother with me.
I try, but it's probably very comical. I try to palm him a bag of money to help grease palms.
No, you just kind of like, yeah, put it in his hand. He just like, brother,
Oh.
give her money.
Oh.
And he reaches out, he picks up his mattress, and you just see glitter under there.
May
Like, don't worry about it, brother.
I have a little bit of that?
No, I need that for me. But I still have some of my old contacts. There's still some of the underworld. If you really truly wish to go after Hasseth, brother, then I suggest finding the Thieves Guild.
He's bought and paid
The-
for those.
The last time I checked, your friend there, the Birdman, he used to be a member of a guild or two. Well, he may have an in for you if you wish to go after him. Well,
Is that
Thieves Guild doesn't like being under anyone's boot, but that's if you wish to go after Hasseth.
Is that cheeky Fey Humper?
I am that.
I've had a few conversations with him, and he knows what he's doing. He knows a bit about the smuggling trade, so. But it's up to you, brother. You do as you will.
Well, you wish I could stay longer.
So do I.
I don't. This place is creepy.
And he'll embrace his little brother, and maybe a little too much.
And you see he's got tears in his eyes as he hugs you, like firmly hugs you.
I wipe my eyes and I'm like, it's allergies.
Someone chopping onions in here.
And
Thank you, brother. And you hear down the hall, you hear, "Hey, time's up!"
Okay.
And you hear him start walking back.
Mm-hmm.
All right, brother. When I can, I'll send you a message. If it gets real bad, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Oh, there's a guy on the gate guard. Is he an annoying one? Can you have him put on latrine duty or something nasty?
Oh, you're talking about the lieutenant?
Yeah.
Don't worry. I've got some designs for him. And at this point, the other guy comes up and, "Oh, thank you, Dan. You have yourself a nice day now. What time's my lunch getting here?" "Oh, you ate breakfast an hour ago." "There's not much in here to do, but look at the walls and eat."
But what about second breakfast?
"Brother, Flynn, you have yourself safe travels now.
Yeah, the goddess bless you.
And you as well." And he closes the door himself, and he latches on the outside. He taps on the door, and the guard slides it. He looks out at you in the eyes. "I love you, brother. I know you make the right choice. Whatever you do, I got your back."
I have a question really quick. Is it bad if you fart in there?
You have no idea how bad.
That's what I thought. Let's leave now.
And he... And you guys are slowly escorted back out.
Okay.
As you see them approach, the entire time that they're in there, you all standing there. You guys doing anything in particular?
Observing.
How big is the room?
Literally, this is like a 20 foot by 20 foot room.
How do we go?
I gently
Yeah.
glide in circles every now and then. I'm bored.
They just like...
I gotta glide in circles and caw every now and then.
I go up and try and strike up a conversation with the guard.
He doesn't respond to you at all. He just stares at you when you talk to him.
Then I continue to have a conversation for him the entire time that we're there, regardless of how much he replies.
And yeah. And you find your... What do you tell him about?
Make up stories about, our travels and...
Just bullshit?
Yeah.
Roll me a deception check.
The woman that I slept with the night before.
Tell him about the one that penetrated you.
You mean
Yeah,
Jill?
that one. Well, crap. What is my deception?
Well, crap.
9.
9?
Oh my god,
As you're telling your stories, the only thing he does is snort one time when you talk about all the women you've been with.
Well, he has been with
I
a lot of
challenge
women,
him.
but
At that point,
but he has
he,
had to pay for them.
The two of them approach. The door opens, and they're brought in the room. The guard closes it, turns, and follow me. And he walks into the previous room that you all entered. They need their items. And the guard nods, opens the door, walks in, comes out, makes 3 or 4 trips, gingerly hands you your staff, hands you your weapons, because you guys basically handed him an arsenal. And he hands it all back at that point, including like your haversack, like the whole thing. Hands it all back, then make sure you kind of double checks and make sure. You can see that there's nothing else really within there. He kind of looks it over, nods at you all, and guard, all right, time's up.
Come pay. We have that appointment with the private doctor from that nasty disease the man in the trees gave you.
I got that one cured, remember?
No, that was the lady that penetrated you.
Oh, that's right.
You all exit. The entire time you can see the guards scrutinizing you all very closely, studying you, getting your faces imprinted in their minds. They don't seem overtly hostile towards any of you, but they seem like they're diligent in their duty. You all are escorted to the gates. Once you pass the gate, that same quadrant of 4 men escort you back to the same point where they picked you up from, turn around without a word, and head back to Ironhome.
Oh, that was productive.
So what's the plan?
I think the plan is we go save the world.
That's always the plan.
That seems like what you've decided, yeah.
You've been with me a long time, Flynn. You can read me well. But I can never come back.
No, we come back after we save the world.
Okay, let's gather up and extricate ourselves.
Off we walk proudly. Do you wish to stop at the gates of your house and tell your brother to go fuck himself, or do we
No.
just leave?
We just leave.
Okay. I'm good with either, you know.
Just as long as you get to do it loudly.
I do everything loudly, that's the point.
Hey,
When you all return to Corunda Gate, are you stealthing?
No.
Still trying to pass through, or are you simply walking towards the Lantern's home?
I will be charitable.
I will be.
So you see anybody like begging on the street corner, you're handing them money type stuff?
Yeah. Blessing small children, doing coin tricks, you know.
Yeah.
do we see the same people that are watching us before?
Roll me a perception check.
That one.
You can see the inside of your butthole.
What'd you roll?
That one.
Okay, as you guys are coming through, you begin looking to see if you can see anyone who's watching you. And you happen to see on one of the corners a rather good looking, which is odd, dwarf. She's robust in figure and very robust in the bosom. As you are scanning people, you lock eyes with her for just a minute, and as soon as you lock eyes with her, she just like
I go and touch her.
Oh,
you immediately
my
break off from the group.
God.
Can I
Yeah,
make
we're
some sort of thing to grab his belt?
No, I've got this. With thaumaturgy. Young miss, he hasn't had the latest cure of herpes. He's got a bad case going. You might not want to go there.
Thanks, Flynn.
As you approach, you hear her just the big smile that she has on her face just slowly dies like somebody kill a puppy right in front of her.
You know, just because you don't get made, Flynn, doesn't mean that the rest of us don't have to.
I go up and I grab his belt and I drag him back to the.
So while that whole exchange is happening,
I mean, loud enough to where half the plaza hears.
everyone within 300 feet hears it. As you all approach Lantern's home, you have at this point you're just fuming. You can enter Lantern's home, and you see sitting at one of the many empty tables within the lower section of Lantern's home. You see Thraka and Triswin sitting at the same table, enjoying a very meager lunch of, just as his son said, moldy bread and hard cheese.
We talk about lunch, alcohol.
Yeah, but you
I
still
haven't
have that
stopped
plate of
drinking.
food. Yeah, you still have that plate of food in front of you.
It has not been touched because I've been drinking to try to forget Dad.
And he's been happily pushing them all towards you.
You know,
And I go up and ask for an
I'll give you gold if you eat the bread.
Nope, pour you now. So
He's gonna need the penicillin after.
he gives the four of you who walk in a scrupulous look. I guess we're not going to be celebrating, are we?
Yeah, we celebrate. Sort of.
Alright. Well, I only find one more bottle, but that's more than enough.
Pour a drink for everyone.
This is, when he pours the brandy, it's maybe 2 mouthfuls for each of you. And he puts it on the table, turns around, corks it, turns around, walks behind the bar, and begins to loudly hum to himself.
No, you join us.
He turns back around, uncorks it, pulls out a fairly larger cup, pours himself a generous portion, raises the glass.
To the right thing.
The right thing. And he kills it.
And maybe we'll not be cockblocked one day.
It's delicious. Thraka already knows this. This is delicious. And it warms you to the tips of your toes and the little fingers tingle. Oh, it is good stuff.
Find someone who knows better.
I'm like, yeah.
Thanks for your hospitality. And he gives him the bag that he was going to give his brother.
How much is in there?
200 gold.
He opens it up,
What? We need that.
looks up at you, looks down at the gold.
We're good.
That's not from my share, right?
Tightens the string on it, wraps it around.
I hope this covers the loss of a profit.
Next time you're in town, come on back.
So we ask one thing for this. We tell people the truth that we are good.
I haven't seen anything otherwise.
And I hold up the Cornberg Chronicle.
I don't read that shit. It's all smut anyway.
Yeah, we just appreciate you tell us the truth about us. And if you could have the boy bring... No. I'll go get Makushla. Never mind. We don't have anything.
Right.
No offense to you, but I wouldn't send my boy out to that thing anyway.
She's a sweet girl, and she's a little misunderstood, but very kind.
Well,
Corberg
tell that to
Chronicle.
my son. He walked out there with me. She started making a weird noise. He just threw it and ran.
That would be her I'm going to eat you noise. It's a good thing he ran.
Well, yeah.
Fucking David. Corberg Chronicle. Dwarf child
Mauled
by Swift Raptor. Further solidifying that he is a dickhead. That he and his raptor eat small children.
This just in. Flynn feeds children to his raptor.
Yeah, there you go.
Only on Tuesday. Grab Makushla, gather everybody up, and...
I'm gonna go get the thing.
With a extremely heavy heart, and however you decide to feel about this, you guys get the very distinct feeling that Rotmir didn't choose to leave his family. He chose to follow the family he spent the last 5 years making with you guys. And despite how you feel, that doubt that you've been having, that nagging sensation in the back of your mind that you're not doing the right thing, that you're not where you're meant to be, that voice is gone.
Okay.
you do far better things than your brother has ever done. Or ever will.
And Fickrick's words echo in your voice of prove him wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And don't worry. We've always got happies.
But if it makes you
Well,
feel
I'm
like
just
I think of you as a brother.
I'm just trepidatious about killing any Deneth guards that come up.
So I just freeze them and we walk away and laugh while they fall down and pee on themselves.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it does sound like fun. We hired the only one that could actually hurt us, and he likes us now.
At this point, even Onlo's not much of a threat.
Onlo is in Karnak.
Still in the hole.
He's still in Carlacton. Remember, you guys left without him.
Yeah.
You guys rehired him and then left without him.
So he's getting paid anyways.
Yeah.
His contract says he's
his
getting paid,
contract
damn
is
it.
getting paid.
Yeah.
So we leave.
Kind of don't have any.
Yes, we leave.
Well, yeah, right.
So everybody hold hands and think
but-
happy thoughts.
And as he says
You
this,
don't wanna go
like
there.
this, then probably the teleportation happens.
Oh, Lady
Where are you going?
Exactly.
Cornberg.
Cornberg?
Land us outside the gates.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a straight Arcana
It's a
check,
bit
please.
far. Grief.
Oh, the bird is
25 on a natural 20?
Okay. As you link hands and think, you teleport out.
Should be more than 25.
No.
No, he doesn't. It's intelligence. It's based on intelligence.
I have a +0 intelligence.
Oh, and it's
good
plus 5.
God.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
As you scream through the ley lines with your teleport spell, you can feel yourself bridging the connections as you go. When you land within eyeshot of the walls of Cornberg, you all get that same queasy feeling. And you feel it's still very much a struggle for translocation magic, but you're getting the hang of it. You're starting to understand it more. You get why a lesser caster may have trouble. Why House Orion? Where that's a person relying on the magic embedded in a mark to teleport, why it's giving them so much trouble. They would have less control over the spell itself than you would. You're literally manipulating the spell when you cast it.
Okay, so if I have to cast Protection from Evil on anyone again this time, I need someone to follow it up immediately with a punch to the face.
Yeah,
Can you do
stuck's a landing. Suck it.
Okay,
I'm really gonna get used to this.
This time.
Everybody, this means that
I just feel like we're going to run into a demon here.
you have to call me Thundergut now.
I'm going to call you Rati.
Well, then that probably will lead a trail right to us.
I think the Thunder Chronicles already done that.
I'm trying to care, but
And the next place he's going to look for alliances with you.
It's just that clone thing.
you know, funny thought. What do we do with that one?
What about me?
Well,
You got a
what do you
demon
mean?
after you.
Oh, didn't he steal from the library?
Oh dear God. Sorry about that. Can't return that book.
Yeah, that book's kind of gone, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Did they actually see you?
They may or may not know what I look like, though. I think what's his name might know who I was, but I don't think he kind of cared.
Oh.
Just saying. Maybe you wait in the trees, eat some berries, scratch your herbified balls.
I don't have herpes anymore.
Anymore.
Like how you
Technically,
had balls.
technically you never had it.
Bestow
But now he's
disease.
convinced he has it.
STDs don't make the rounds too much because of House Durasco.
And I've been healing him since I've known him.
Every day, just 5 points.
Let's just make
Cure
sure
any of that,
there's
yeah.
nothing there.
What about the zombie herbs?
He's gotten used to me
I
just
got-
like
I got
touching
it.
his head, like.
The great thing about a world like Eberron is STDs are way less prevalent even than they are in our world.
Usually just a joke on Perry's
Yes.
Well,
expense.
he's also the source of something. He's
He's
patient
typhoid
zero.
Perry.
He's a progenitor, like in Resident Evil, they call it the progenitor virus. That's
Yeah.
where he's the one where it came from, his wiener.
Okay, so
You know,
enough.
just because I've had my dick in every species doesn't mean that I'm.
That's exactly why you would create a disease.
You,
Had your
Man who was laying with Alaska Berry.
Sorry, man.
One time, dude. So,
God, you're
I
worse
have a
than a
new
fucking
goal. I'm
bard.
going to track down Thundergut.
Vihel the god?
You guys are basically in the stretch of open grassland between the forest and the city itself.
And I
So we follow the yellow brick road to Oz.
Okay.
If you think that I'm gonna stir up some
I'm
trouble,
going to
I'll stay out here.
No, it's okay, you
use them
come.
to
What's the
carry
worst that happens?
the
He gets
painting.
arrested or killed for a steal.
Hey,
I
he
gotta
just seems
sneak my way
appreciative
out like I
to
usually
stretch his
do.
legs more.
I'm willing to take that chance.
But I'm not going to ride. I'm just going
Why
to
is
walk.
he? Well, you do,
the-
however, need
You're
to not
staying
advise.
behind, correct?
What?
You're staying behind?
No, I'm going with them.
Okay.
They all agreed that I should go.
I didn't agree.
Well,
No.
you can.
I said that chance doesn't bother me because it's not my head we'll be cutting off. But
Well,
I'll,
as far
I'll
as
keep
I
my,
know, he
my
wasn't
cloak over.
caught.
Probably should try to
So,
cover your overhead first.
so I know it's hard for you, but try a low profile.
Don't
Hard
worry.
for him.
I don't need a low profile. I'm a simple priest.
You could really do
You're
with
not.
low profile in general.
I am a priest. I'm anointed.
You're not a simple priest.
Shut up, Godchild.
I think I'm simple.
Why do you keep calling him Godchild?
Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't know about that one. We just let it go.
So the thing is, he's
His mother is the goddess of luck.
the one that he's talking about. He's got mommy issues. We've been traveling with the Godchild, as I said.
And I think he killed his dad, so he's got daddy issues too.
I did not kill my dad.
Oh,
No,
you
I
just
imagine-
betrayed him?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I killed my dad. Did I
No,
kill my
he's
dad?
on death's door from what I saw.
No, he was fine. I left him happily drunk at a shitty bar.
Yeah.
I gave him
Means
plenty of money for
Missing
drinks.
an arm, an ear, and an eye, but I mean that wasn't caused by Flynn.
Yeah, I didn't do any of that. He wasn't even on the boat when I killed all the halflings.
Shit is-
But that wasn't me, so you know what? Family history is a bad subject. Let's just leave that there.
You got all the halflings. That's why Cade was so pissed at you for a while.
You best
You-
got that now?
Didn't remember that?
He wasn't Sapphire.
Wait, he massacred a bunch of halflings, and you're worried about me killing a few dwarf guards?
Just a
And
try.
y'all fucking suck.
One little try.
Throcket still has like his mug of beer, just like.
Oh my god, you took the beer
Yeah,
with you.
he took a thing of beer with him. And he just like.
And it's got well over 200 gold, for all the stuff you guys.
I gave that dude 10 gold in a
Keep
flat.
the mug.
Yeah,
Do you want it?
yeah. He made more profit in the 2 days with you guys there than he would with that place fully.
So,
Yeah.
somebody
All the money got
should
tossed
stay
away.
here.
You guys just wreck the economy every place you go.
I know, right?
Inflation's
Inflation out
a
the yard.
bitch.
Giant painting. Do you want to stay?
We can't take the giant painting with us.
Why not? It didn't steal anything.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We should probably have you hold it up and let you talk
I
instead.
can be very persuasive as a painting.
Yeah.
Watch these.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's the
And-
best deception I've seen in
As he does that, you see that shimmering surface of it just fades and looks like a regular painting.
Oh, this is awesome. Yeah, we go.
After a moment, he turns and looks over at you all and goes, "Suck it." And he goes back.
Oh, and Throcket, technically the amnesia thing means I didn't actually kill the halflings. That was the other Flynn, the bad one. And his name was Liam, not Flynn. So it wasn't even me.
What, we got 2 Flynns running around?
No, that was Liam. Don't worry about Liam. He's an asshole.
You'll give me.
As far as I
Yeah,
know, you're
something-
an asshole too.
Common.
I'm probably
Not.
20 feet
Just not.
You
ahead
just
of them.
prevented me from
leading-
going to tap it on.
Maybe-
I
yeah.
resurrected
I'll
you and
pick
lent
up
you
the
thousands
painting
of
and
gold.
Follow my
Well, the painting is attached to Hamish currently.
Oh, okay. Then
That way you
I
guys
will-
don't have to
You'd
carry
be
it.
less
Okay,
of an
good.
asshole if
Then
you
I'll just be
give
fine.
it to me instead.
I thought we established.
Listen,
Since I don't have
listen,
arrows
you're human,
anymore.
right?
50 feet,
I,
So you would have to squat down to tap a dwarf.
60 feet.
details. Why don't I just
You
pick her up?
remember that exercise that we went through in
We're the
camp?
only
Spin her on
ones
top.
going to get the thing.
Remember that exercise that we went through in camp?
Grab her
called
by the
monkey
beard
fucker?
and just...
No, remember that exercise?
I'm
that
just
we did
gonna
in
walk
camp called
off.
Monkey fucker?
We
Yeah,
are-
yeah, you already see.
We're done here.
Yeah, those 3 are already like 100 feet away from these 2 as they're
I'll
still
just
arguing.
ride
I
in the
think we
bush
left
off.
this. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of sad.
As you all approach the gates, a actually familiar human, the one that you've seen a couple of times coming into Kornberg, as he looks over and sees y'all. Oh, back again, huh?
Yeah, you're still on guard duty at the gate?
Pays the bills.
You haven't bribed somebody for a better job yet, then.
Need money to do that, man. Hey, you remember the rules. Muzzle on her.
Okay, sweetie. I'm sorry, but we have to put the leather on because the bad man's a crybaby.
Does he have to put an animal handling check because there is a fucking raptor?
No, because it's bonded to him. If it was not a mage bred animal, then yes, he would. But this mage bred animal is smarter than a lot of people.
Yeah.
What?
He's
Shaking
shaking
the table.
Oh.
So it looks like we had a mini earthquake.
Ah.
Yeah,
we did
no,
just teleport.
Everybody, Kirk!
As he looks over you all, you all know by now. You all know the drill. Anything to declare? No fruits, no vegetables.
Only pay. Does that count?
No. Well, I was gonna say vegetable and fruit, but you know.
Do you point to me and say vegetable?
You know, I think I got a higher intelligence than you.
King.
Oh, right.
Well, since last time you guys were here and we had that conversation, I figured I'd go ahead and give my hand at, try to make people laugh. So there's a little place, a little hole in the wall. You guys want to go by tonight? Some people do poems and sonnets and things like that. I got a little routine. Maybe tickle your fun about a bit if you guys want to come by.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome,
That
wench.
sounds excellent.
No. This is a little place. They call it a Mayop's hideout. I don't know why.
Well, if your routine's anything like that joke you just made, then count me in. I'll be there.
Yeah, we both go.
Aye.
All right.
And do you know a particular person that works for the Kornberg Chronicle named...
Well, let me guess. Oh, wait. Sheldon?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's fun. I need to talk to him.
I kind of figured you would after the last thing he said about you, that last little thing.
I do more than squawk.
Well, if he wanted to meet you, if this is the only way he had to do it, he should have done a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, it's not the best way to meet people.
Well, you're here.
We were here actually for another reason, but we figured.
Happenstance.
Well, he's been trying to meet with you guys for like the last year.
He could
He
have
got
just
tired of
asked.
following you guys around. He
Sent us
came
a
back
letter.
now. He's here now.
Why didn't he just ask?
Well, he did, but every time he asked, it seemed like you guys were walking off somewhere dangerous and not really good for him to follow.
Oh, well, yeah, that's fair.
I don't even know who the fuck this guy is. He
Well,
just stuff like
I will be more than happy to speak to him.
Let me guess. You're Throda.
I'll break your kneecap.
That's close enough.
Right. Newest member of the group. Wow.
That is
Already a big head on his shoulders, huh? Oh, guys, come on in. You know the routine.
Head on.
At this point, it's a little before midday. You guys had that conversation that that was about 5 hours of walking. So your stomachs are starting to grumble a little bit as you guys come into Cornberg. Cornberg seems like it always does. Some hustle and bustle. There's some gnomes moving about. They do their chittering talk that seems to confuse people as much as anything else. Lots of trade going on. It's very, very windy and cold today, but that doesn't seem to be putting a damper on the upbeat attitude. What are you all going to do now that you're within Cornberg?
Stop by the library and make an appointment to see the man.
You all know the
Yeah.
area that you have to go to, so you go to speak with Thrivis to set up a meeting with him.
And is our membership still active? Because we paid a lot of money for
I think
Oh,
we only
yeah.
paid for the month. So.
No, you guys paid for a
a
year.
year.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, you guys paid for a year. No, your membership's active, which is why you can actually get
Appointment.
an appointment with Thrivis. Though she does, as she opens up her book, she goes, Thrivis, names please.
I am Flynn,
Thundergut.
and this is Rotmir, Thundergut.
Wait, hold on. And she starts shuffling through some papers and she pulls one out and... Oh, here.
I open it, read it.
It's short message in his terrible, terrible handwriting. Whenever he's not transcribing books, he just writes too damn fast. He's got too many thoughts in his head. And apparently it just says, bring this to the library as soon as you can.
Okay.
So we go library then?
Right.
And then maybe we get a sandwich, with some good cheese.
There's a lot of good food in this
Let's,
city.
yeah.
Gnomes have a very bland palate, but they love potatoes.
Potatoes are bland.
Boiled potatoes with just a little bit of pepper on them, delicious.
Gotta be honest. I
Boil
think
them, chop
potatoes
them
are
up, put them in a stew.
No. They make whole potato, and you see people walking around holding those whole potatoes and just gnawing on them.
That sounds pretty good.
It's
Alright.
technically not cannibalism if I want to meat and then I kill a gnome and then.
Yeah, it's still cannibalism because you're still eating an intelligent creature.
Yeah.
You have
It's
to
still
kind of
cannibalism.
expand the meaning in a
Yeah.
fantasy world.
Yeah, in a fantasy world, it's basically
You ate something
anything.
sentient, ergo
Yes.
cannibalism.
If it's sentient, it's kind of anything with over 3
What if it's a
intelligence is
sentient
cannibalism.
squirrel? Does that and I kill it while hunting?
No, because that's still a beast. Any humanoid,
Interesting.
any
But
humanoid,
gnomes are about the size of a beast.
No,
they're still
it
humanoid.
doesn't count because I only chew. I don't swallow.
What if he polymorphs it into a squirrel?
Then, well, as soon as you bite it, that'd probably be dangerous to do because as soon as pick up the skull and you bite its head off, its head inside your mouth would become the size of a regular gnome's head, which would probably shatter your jaw.
So that would be funny. Let's try that.
Hey,
Talk about
So
the
I drink the giant's
I'm
potion
walking to the
beforehand,
library.
mind you. I just figured
I'm
it out.
walking to the
I drink the
library.
giant's
I'm
potion
going to come here.
Yeah,
I
we
drink
go to the
giant's
library.
potion beforehand.
Well, it doesn't
Strength-
make you any bigger.
No, but strength 25 jaw.
Yeah, but it's still just that
Sudden expansion.
Sudden expansion. Yeah,
Library.
it's like sticking a fire extinguisher in your mouth and pulling the.
Library.
That sounds painful.
You all can make your way to the library. The guards that are currently on the outside of it, you do not recognize. As you approach, they You have an appointment?
Yeah,
I
we have.
showed
This is a
the-
paper.
He grabs the paper. Oh, god damn it, I can never read his handwriting. Alright. Hold on a minute, let me get you an escort. He comes back, he leaves, then comes back a few minutes later, and once again you see Dande, the same assistant that you guys have dealt with a lot, comes down. Oh, thank God you guys are here. I mean, I thought you were supposed to be here like 4 or 5 days ago. I mean, but you're here. You're here. Come on.
I'm sorry, it was an entity from
Come
so
on,
far around trying to
come
eat
on.
us.
And he leads you guys in.
Thank you for their service, and he gives him a gold piece.
Once in somebody's older brother was.
As you go to hand him a gold piece, he's already rolled around on his heel and he's.
Okay.
And I mean, you guys are. He does the same thing as he does before. He's chattering about nothing and everything at the same time as you guys, as he leads you to Thrivis' own private study.
So-
With his now, it's much nicer. He has his own private room right across the hall. He has the library with all of his own personal works that he's done over his very long career as a scribe. The entire time he's been at the Kornberg Library.
So Dante, has any demon tried to kill you again yet?
Oh, no, that was just one time when you guys were here, but you know, you guys bring trouble with you all the time, because you know how you guys are. You guys are going everywhere and you're attacking things, and but he was telling me that if you kill that thing, then it was going to come back and it was going to try to kill you. Has it tried to kill you again yet?
Yeah, it actually killed him.
Oh,
That's a
Jesus
funny
Christ, so
story.
you died? Wow, so what was that like? What happened there?
That was not fun.
Oh, hold on a second, like, okay, hold on, I need to take some notes while you tell me this. Come on. What was that? It's not fun.
Not fun. That's a bit holy. I mean, I was full of holes.
Then his soul was shattered.
That's very academic. Can you keep going? Just anything that you can remember, like when you were out, like when you crossed over. Did you see the light? Did you see the tunnel? Did you just see the firing flames of hell? What did you see?
My love.
That's odd. All right, for scientific purposes, okay. And he starts jotting down some notes and everything, and then he stuffs them back in his pocket as he keeps walking. And so, is it true that you guys you entered the Elding Reaches? What were you guys going to do there?
Yeah, we fought one of the lieutenants from the Far Realms.
A quarry.
Yeah, Quarry. Sakura Quarry.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Well, I mean, you guys. That sounds really good. I mean, we were researching that stuff. I got you books on the quarter. Remember, and we were talking about that. We were researching that. You remember that, right? Remember, I got you that book. You know, remember the Grand History of Eberron. Remember that book? Yeah. We read it together. You know, it was a great time, right? Okay. Oh, here we are. There. Thrivis is waiting for you guys as he knocks on the door, and you hear yes.
Hello, Thrivis.
Thrivis, I know you're at lunch right now, but the Knights of Fate, they're here to see you. Okay, come in. And he opens the door and steps aside and motions for you all to go inside.
Thank you. As always, it's been a pleasure.
You all step in, and he, is there anything else I can get for you, Master? Do you need any wine? Do you need any... shut up, young man. Just leave. Close the door behind you.
Or something to drink.
No.
I think he needs to lay off the coffee.
There's only one. He picks up
Than
a
last
small
time.
glass of wine, swirls it. Only one person here that gets any liquid libation within my establishment. He drinks and sets it down. Well, I was expecting you all
I
maybe
take
a day or two earlier.
The magical jug, and I fill it up for him.
That's because
Thank you.
we had
Well,
a small... Sakura...
I mean, a second glass can't hurt.
And then I grab my little dwarven brandy cask out and pour it.
Well, no, he just takes a sip and sets it back down.
Yeah, we had a small problem with the Sakura Quarry. And then somebody's brother was being a cranky pain in the ass. But we're here now.
Well, that. Wow, I don't really know what to say to that, but I mean, good on you for fighting a creature of that. Well,
Destroying. Yeah, we call it destroying.
Well, destroying a creature of that magnitude? That's not the word. I don't know. My brain's not where it needs to be lately. So I have finished the task that you all have set for me. I have translated the tome.
What about the other book?
The other book, I have been able to translate a few of the spells that are within it. It is a very powerful wizard's spell book, but it has an enchantment upon its pages. Spells scribed from it that are transferred to another book are never transferred properly. But if you know of a fellow who uses spell books, this could be quite the item for him.
I can cast out of a spellbook, right?
You'd have to tear it out and use it as a scroll. And the enchantment, as soon as
Does
you
it
tear it
still
out,
stand?
it's gone. He picks up one tome.
I'm assuming
This
that looks good though.
is yours, the tome of Strahd
I pick it
von
up.
Zarovich, in its original form. And this, and he picks up a tome of equal size but plain brown binding. This is the translated works, and he pushes that towards you all.
Translated works of
Well,
what?
The Tome
The
of
tome
Strahd.
of Strahd.
Oh, so
And
original copy.
he hands you that onyx black book. That young wizard you traveled with may find some use with that.
Yeah, well, it's mine.
However you wish.
Be greedy.
Well, I thank you all for coming by today, but this is going to have to end our professional relationship. Me getting attacked by an assassin once is one too many times for my liking, and I think with the powers that you are currently thumbing your nose at, it would be best for an old man like me if you no longer came to the library.
You're probably right. But if you ever need anything, don't. What's the word I'm looking for?
Hesitate?
Hesitate. Yeah. Don't hesitate to give us a
Don't
call.
worry, son, I have those days too. But it starts small and it gets worse.
Travis, maybe after all this is over, I can come back and use the library?
We'll have to have a conversation about that some other day.
Okay,
How
so that
about after
sounds
we kill the
good.
assassin?
There's gonna be far more than just what you read the tome and you'll understand.
Oh, right.
Okay, so that sounds good. Thank you for all the help.
You are very welcome.
I find
Oh.
you a useful gnome.
You've already paid me, so we are all well and good. I will summon Donde, and he.
No, we know our way out. We know.
You actually don't.
I don't care.
I do.
The internals of this building live.
And he looks back at you all, and I wish you all good luck.
Well, shit, he's never done that before.
And the door opens, and Donde like, whoa, that was a lot quicker than the last time you guys were here. Wow, you guys got that done so fast. Oh, okay, you guys get the books. All right, follow me. I guess I'll lead you out. And the whole time he's leading you out, the saying that it's that long stream of, you know how he just keeps talking, like he should have to breathe every once in a while, but
He's talking
like other
faster than
gnomes, he's
normal.
just
I
He's-
asked him about gnome women.
How many?
Silence.
gives you a very academic view of gnome women that doesn't help you out at all.
I guess I won't be doing anything for myself for a while.
As you all reach the entrance, Donde looks at each of you and goes, so according to Thravis, he said that as soon as you guys got back and he gave you guys work, then he was going to give you guys the bad news that he was revoking your membership to Cornberg. It's no hard feelings. Well, we love you guys and we thank you guys for the money, but you got to understand that we don't need assassins coming here and trying to kill people, and apparently from what he saw, he just thinks it's going to keep happening, so he doesn't want to have anything to do with you guys anymore, but you guys have a great day, bye! And he closes the door, and the guards kind of look up at you guys like, what the fuck was that? And then just interest is immediately lost, and you all can decide what you're doing next.
I'm going to the blacksmith.
Okay.
I'm gonna go find a.
You are
anything with
going
guns.
to the blacksmith with me.
Yeah.
I'll tag
All right.
along.
But we're gonna go find me some guns later. I wanna go look at them. I hear that these gnomes tend to make them.
Maybe after the
No.
blacksmith.
We need a room.
Not these.
It was just the gnome.
The gnome.
I'm
I'll ask
going-
about the gnome.
Who are you asking?
Anyone.
Just
I
random people?
Yeah.
A
You
gnome.
know.
What do you say?
The gnome.
I put it. My rifle. I present my rifle and say, "Do you know anyone who can make anything like this?"
Well, guy looks up at you and goes, I don't even know what that is.
It's a fire stick.
Well,
This is my boomstick.
Well, I guess you would have to find someone who sells those, but frankly, sir, I'm trying to enjoy my lunch.
Enjoy your
Yeah, you rude
potato.
bitch.
Where can I get one of those?
Well, I'm sitting in a cafe, so I'm
Yeah, you dumb
assuming
bitch.
in the cafe.
I'm gonna,
Snarky too.
I'm gonna thump Perry on the head with the staff.
Can I get me one of those before we go?
No, we go.
Then we come back.
No, it's unseasoned potato. They're slightly more appetable than Arnos's underwear.
This looks like it. This looks like he's eating eggs with no seasoning on them whatsoever.
I don't wear underwear.
Exactly.
How do you feel about that, Arnold?
Go book
These
a room
wonderful
for
eggs
us.
being consumed.
You go to
With
the
chili.
regular House of Galandra
I lay eggs.
enclave.
Scrum. Because
I
you're
thought there
giant
was
fucking bird.
Welcome Win.
Welcome Lunch was
Giant
in
male
Carlac.
bird.
Oh, and Regal
Details,
Court.
details.
Collect
He doesn't
and
have
Regal
a
Court.
Important
Yeah.
details.
Gather home.
Yeah, the Cornbread does not have a welcome lunch.
Huh?
You guys were typically staying at the House of
Aye.
Galandra Inn.
Don't think that works with
Um,
giant humanoid birds though.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'll get rooms under the name Thundergut.
Okay. How many rooms you get? In this establishment, they have currently 7 rooms available. How many would you like?
I'll get all 7.
Ooh, okay. That's going to be 3 silver a night.
Okay, I'll pay for 2 nights.
You don't
Oh, okay.
understand.
That'll be 4 gold piece. We'll give you. We'll call that the silver
One at a time.
a wash. So 4 gold, please.
Yes, I won't take 2 nights.
Okay.
I talk, I turn him into a rat.
As you guys.
Oh, and I'm gonna go to House Civis.
Okay, so you're gonna head to House Civis. Civis, you guys head to the blacksmith. What is Arnos, Trisman, and Thraka doing?
Oh, I was going with them. He's got a demon after him.
Oh, so you're going with Perry. Okay, so what is Trisman and Thraka doing?
You
Looking
can
for
drink
alcohol.
while I read the book.
You know the gnomes themselves don't drink,
They don't.
but there are bars here, but the bars pretty much exclusively cater to non-gnomes. There are only 2 in town in this entire city. Okay. Easy enough to find. As you're like booze, they're just like, yeah, there's these 2. There's
It's more like
and most people are like, don't go to that one. That one's the good one. You know, like don't. That's the bad Denny's. That's the good Denny's. Go to the good
bad
Denny's. You know,
ditties.
like,
That's the good ditties.
Is one of them by chance Mylop's hideout?
yes,
Is that the good Denny's or the bad Denny's?
the bad Denny's.
Oh god!
That would be the bad Denny's.
So we're going to the bad Denny's.
We're going to the bad Denny's, everybody.
So, and Tristan, what are you doing?
I was going with Thundergut.
Okay, so you and her went to a house Galandra.
Thunder.
I went to
No,
my
it-
room with the painting, and I put the painting down, and I get the book, and I start reading.
Okay, so you're gonna start reading the tome. So we're gonna get to that in the next game session.
I let her know that I'm off to House Civis.
Okay.
Be careful. Bring food, please.
Yeah. So we'll deal with that because I have printouts and stuff for you guys for that. All right. So you guys, as you all head to the blacksmith, you know exactly the way to go. As you approach, you see that burly dwarf, and he's dink, dink, dink on his anvil. He looks up, wipes the sweat from his brow, and sees you approach, and he goes, "Ah, was wondering when you would show up." He puts him down and turns around. Got what you're looking for. Come on in. Don't mind the heat. And he turns around and he hefts and picks up some very, very nice scale barding, just like you paid for. And there you go.
Oh, the mithril barding from Akushla.
That's gonna fit it just fine right there.
This is excellent work.
Only just the other half of the payment is all that's due.
How much was the other half?
Total was 500 gold pieces, 250 up front, 250 upon delivery.
Yeah, here's 300. Thank you for your service.
I appreciate it, helping you get it off my wall. I got other commissions coming in.
Excellent. Just put the barding on
Akushla.
It takes a while, but it looks very good. And at this point, you can raise Makushla's AC by 2.
What's the Velociraptor fucking AC now?
Not that high.
And
I give him a hand.
oh yeah, I would assume.
Are you sure about that?
18.
I just don't give him a kushla hand.
Here you go.
You're just like, who's it gonna
Tom tickles!
Okay. So, what do you do? What is everybody else doing at that point? You're heading to House Civis.
As soon as I get my party on, I'm headed over to speak to a man about an article.
Okay.
I give him a follow and he shoot me off.
No, you can come. Do my
I wanted to
need the boomstick?
squawk at him anyways.
So the three of you begin to head towards the Chronicle, as it's called in Kornberg. While that happens, as you guys are moving through the streets, you hear someone call each of your names.
Perry and Flynn, respectively.
And Arnos.
Yes.
What do we do now?
As you look, you see sitting at a completely different eatery, a fairly, especially to you, familiar figure. Sitting, wearing a velvet dress, red the color of blood. Her hair is done up in a bun. Her auburn hair is done in a very pristine bun. Her lips are colored with a dark maroon lipstick, and her makeup is immaculate, as it always is. She holds in her hand a fairly ornate pipe that smoke filters away from. As she takes an inhale of it and blows out a smoke ring, she looks at each of you in turn and, would you mind having a seat? I think we have a few things to talk about.
Yeah, we sit.
Is this the queen?
As you all sit, she taps the rest of the tobacco out of her pipe and looks at the three of you.
Oh,
I
don't
would.
have some more of that, do you?
I do not.
That's a shame.
I would assume the rest of your compatriots are here within the city.
Yeah, they're here.
Good. Well, we have much to discuss. But this is not the safest place for us to speak. I have a house here. If you would do me the honor of attending me tonight, we can have ourselves a much overdue conversation.
That is fair. We meet you.
She writes down the address on a piece of paper, and she pushes it in your direction.
Take it in.
Yeah.
Thank you. And we will see you tonight.
I recognize her.
You've dealt with her far less than what Perry has, but you've dealt with her a few times
This
before.
woman at all.
Which one is it?
You recognize
Ow.
her as the Lady Morwen.
Oh,
That
shit
sounds
on a
like-
stick.
It's been forever since we've had an interaction.
Alrighty, so I will prepare my finery, including my robe.
Barely remember what she looks like.
In my finery.
Well, now
I shall
We
soil
have
his
real cheap
finery.
black knife.
Leknine. That's a Leknine now.
Time for the second use of
So
prestidigitation.
you don't have the plunging
Soil.
neckline. You have a neckline that goes all the way down to your anus.
Yo, can you wear that from the fucking the flamboyant dude that made the
Les-
cross pants?
Lester's linens?
Yeah.
Okay, that depends. Sadly, all of your finery is currently within the guild hall.
No, I was saying like custom order it and then submit Perry and make him wear it.
I go find some
Sure.
clothes then.
You got the mail
To
on
suit
that
the-
one.
Yo,
The
you're
occasion.
you're wearing the butthole revealing
Okay.
fucking
Oh,
outfit.
Tristan, guess what?
I'm in the room. She's in her room.
Yeah.
And just reading.
I'm on the
with
stone.
The painting there.
Tristan!
Well, literally, as you're sitting down, you crack open the book, and this is what you hear.
Tristan, guess what?
What?
Lady Morwen's in Kornberg.
Oh.
You probably shouldn't have said that so
I'm on the
loudly.
stone.
You shouldn't have said that so
I
loudly.
didn't say that loud.
You're effectively speaking into a cell phone.
Yes.
Or a Bluetooth, like a
Hello!
jackass. Or a Bluetooth, like a jackass.
I have terrible service here!
Inflection, not volume.
I didn't know Flynn knew how to do that.
Where
So
are
it's
we?
Am I
Color
out
me
of range for
surprised.
that?
No, you all are.
We need to go shopping for
Kornberg
some
is a
clothes.
city that is built
Go
on top
shopping
of each
with
other. It's
clothes?
kind of like New York City in a way that people live on
I
top of
have
each other.
clothes.
The entire city, if you stand in the middle of the city, a mile gets the outskirts of it pretty easily.
Let's go shopping.
Vi, I have clothing.
Am I the only one without clothes?
Yeah, probably.
Do I go around naked everywhere?
For the
No,
sake
that's
for the
my
sake of
thing.
brevity,
Put clothes on.
anyone who wants to actually go and shop, I'm not going to create another clothing shopkeeper for you guys to interact with. I've already created 2
I'm
done.
I'm
or
getting
3.
Haggle?
No.
I'm gonna get some raw
Trying to
ingredients
haggle
to
with gnomes.
cook some food for the party.
It's only
Okay.
a 28.
Probably talk you up.
Well, do you actually? Would you even want to go with Perry? to be honest, would you even want to go with them?
No.
So you can get yourself a set of fine clothing. It's 10 gold pieces.
But there's always someone with you.
Flynn's love of screwing shopkeepers out of
you're
money
going
is
this way?
exceeded by his love of
Well,
wine.
yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
one that can kill yourself.
And Kornberg is
I'm
a bit of a
looking to
hub.
show your
It gets quite a bit of stuff from the north and heads off to the west. As you all, as night begins to fall, thoughts of confronting Sheldy or the Tome of Strahd, consuming the Tome of Strahd, are currently placed on hold, as your original patron from all those years ago that set you on this path has asked for your appearance.
Did I get to House Civis?
Yes.
Actually, my original patron is already on the path.
I'm
Yeah,
going
right.
to send Sheldy a
I got tentacle bad.
invitation for a morning meeting tomorrow.
Who?
Sheldy.
Oh, Shelby. Okay. They'd look in. Well, that's within the city. Yeah, I can send a runner with that. That's going to be 2 silver pieces.
He flips them a gold.
Oh, okay. And he puts it in his pocket. Make sure you're writing all that down.
Yeah. You mean keeping track of the money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's simple enough, and you hear the same thing that they did. You had a very strange interaction with her every time you saw her. She
Who?
always gave you the funnies in the stomach.
Who?
Lady Morland. If you
Oh,
remember,
Gotcha.
all those months ago that we've been playing for so
Yeah.
long. Over a year ago at this point that you guys have actually interacted, like in real time that you guys have interacted with Lady Morwen. You remember she always gave you the butterflies in the stomach.
I think the last time we interacted with her was when we went to investigate the village of the creepy vapors.
Before that,
Before.
yeah, you guys never got to actually interact with her after that. You gave her her right hand man your
Report.
report.
You
Yeah.
know, is it strange that we never see Strahd and Lady Mormon in the same place at the same time?
Yeah,
Well,
it's
that's
very
because Strahd's on
strange.
another plane.
We don't see people from different planes in the
Are
same
you
place.
drunk already?
No, I think
I'm on
he,
my
I
side.
wish.
The herpes, it's got my brain.
I think the Rakshasha took part of his brain.
The syphilis.
I got the syphilis.
Just
She
check
just
his
like
head for
touches
a-
your head. 5 points.
Okay. As night falls, you guys can dress as you wish.
I will wear
Dress
my
up.
finery.
I've been drinking by myself this whole time.
I'm wearing
Okay.
a hat.
Do you accompany them to meet this Lady Mormon?
I've been in my drink, so nobody's told me shit.
You
Raka.
heard. You heard it as. You were giving Cade stuff, so you've heard the whole
And
conversation.
if I see him drinking, I'm going to knock the cup out of his hand as soon as I see it.
It's
We
up to you.
have a meeting.
Lou.
Royalty.
I'm not interested. Fix up the fucking.
We have a meeting. You must go. It is expected.
We
I'm
have
gonna
that
polish
summon.
my armor like a good bodyguard would.
Okay.
And I polish my swords and my.
Up to you. Do you stay or do you go? Up to you.
The food will be better than what the gnomes have.
The bad part about this place is all the cups are gnome sized. So you've just been like,
Well, I've got 5 of them in one hand.
damn it.
So
Yeah.
you're drinking a bunch of.
But it's still the
like-
same price for a regular sized drink.
So think like a honeycomb, right? But I've got like my
But
hands
with
big enough.
beer.
I've got a bunch of cups that just.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
they do charge you. It is a silver piece for each drink.
Okay, that's fine. I threw a platinum, shut them fuck up, and give you 5 at a time.
Okay.
I'll
By
note
the
that, by the way.
by the time you guys are all ready to go, and you have the address to Lady Morwen's, strangely, it is not in the affluent section of town.
It is in
I
the
thought you said this was royalty, Flynn.
Probably
low
trying to get it
socioeconomic place?
Middle class.
Middle class?
This is where most of the, if a merchant is rich enough to own a building and not have to live within it, this is where they would live.
Get ready to send something.
As you all approach, the this very unassuming 2-story tall house with a actual central tower within it lies before you. There is light within the windows.
Before we enter, I'd like to use divine sense.
Okay.
Undead.
You detect no undead, and yet you have to decide, correct, on which one you're trying to sense.
Yeah.
So you detect no undead within the area.
Well, I don't know if it actually has me select. It
Uh,
just says
it's like
this,
every
this,
it's
or
like
this.
it's like every other one. Unless it says and.
Let's see. This says.
So, Flynn, why are we meeting with royalty? Is it like a midget that's binary or some shit? Because there's nothing about midgets here.
No, this is a full-size person. One she'd probably have you burned to death if you disrespect her, so maybe not that good choice.
Honestly, I really don't fucking care right now. Like, it's not a good time.
Yeah, but if you die, you go to Squidly.
He's following me right now. I'm probably going for a minute.
But you don't already have him, and we can break that. So,
Any celestial
Stop crying
fiend
like a little
undead
girl.
within 60 feet. And.
You do not detect any undead celestial fiend.
Okay.
You just set this meeting when I'm fucking hammered.
Oh, they changed the
I
range
told you to
on that.
stop
They
drinking.
changed, primeval awareness.
Yeah, you can sense them all.
All at once.
And it's a spell slot.
Oh yeah, it's always been special.
Yeah, it's always been a spell slot.
It
So-
increases the duration based on the location.
Yeah, but which one you use depends on how long it lasts.
knock on the door, I guess.
As you walk up there, it's got a small little porch that you walk up on. You rap upon the door. After a few moments, a black-skinned elf opens the door, looks over each of you,
Didn't see you there.
then takes a step back, opens the door, and holds it open for you.
Leads the way, Rodman.
I go in.
As you step in, you step into what looks to be probably a living room. There's a nice fireplace on the side. A fire crackles within it. There's 2 chairs that look like they've seen better days that are set up near the fire. Both of them are occupied. One is occupied by the very familiar sight of Lady Morwen, looking straight back and regal as always, which gives you the funnies.
And the funnies is in disturbing, and the funnies is in what a beautiful woman.
You find her attractive.
You've never been able to figure that one out yet. It's always your stomach is almost always dropped out of the bottom every time you see her, and you're not entirely sure as to why.
That might be hot, might kill me thing.
Okay, well,
It's gonna have to.
It's like
I'll
down
give
Peter
her
to kill me.
a courtly greeting, according to the traditions of mortals.
You stammer one out. As you do so, you see the occupied chair just a few feet away from her. A man. He wears dark leather armor. He has jet black hair that is pulled back tight and pulled into a ponytail. His skin is almost ashen in color, and his angular features are sharp, almost predatory. As you all walk in and you feel his gaze sweep over you, you feel like you do when you're in the zoo and you see the way a tiger looks at you, almost like it's looking through you. Lady Morwen stands, looks at each of you, nods her head. It's good to see you all again. Let me introduce you to Caius the First. And that's where we're going to end tonight.
Yeah, that's what I thought the second you said that. It's like, and here's King Kai's.
For those who haven't been playing this campaign for the last 3 years, they discovered that the King of Karnath is actually a vampire, and Caius the First, Chorus the First, and almost every other King of Karnath has been the same person, Caius. And now they're meeting him after trying to have a meeting with him over a year ago.
And poor Crockett knows not who any of these motherfuckers
No, you
are.
know who King
Now,
Caius is.
this has been very combat light for the last couple of game sessions. Do not worry, there's plenty of action to be had coming right around the corner. We thank you all for joining us yet again. I hope you all had a great time. Remember, if you have any advice or if you have any criticisms or anything else that you guys want to tell us, or if you guys want any shout outs or anything like that, go ahead and let us know in the chat. Remember, go onto YouTube, Dyson Dudes. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell for all notifications on that, please. Also remember to go onto Facebook, like Dyson Dudes, like Military Gamer Supply, like the Military Gamer Supply YouTube channel, like their Twitch, like their Facebook, like our Facebook, like Instagram, like just like all the stuff, all the
Just
social
hit
media
that
stuff.
like button.
Just like it like
Click
you're
it.
a machine gun. Just get it done.
Clickety, clickety, clickety.
We appreciate all of you. We love all of you. Remember to love each other and keep rolling them dice.